Oh, hold on one sec.
I hate white name Giga Chad.
Fuck, I'm trolling so hard right now. I had an appointment today and it got canceled, but now they said there's a cancellation for another appointment, so there might be one. Oh, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Never mind. Okay, we're good. I think I'm playing Lies of P. I don't even know what that is. Are you feeling about Satisfactory now? I don't know. It's just the map is so big. There's a lot of walking around and. Did you see the TikTok of you blowing up at the moment? Nope. It's a Soulsborne game. Huh. Find Satisfactory to be a lot more fun if I focus on building nice looking buildings and bus lines. Oh sure. Have you gotten every thing in this game? All the things in the shop? I guess that's how you know you've kind of won, huh? What do you think of that Peter Arcidiania? I can't pronounce the guy's last name. The affirmative action guy? He seemed cool. Any plans to look at the Russell Brand situation? Not yet. Why do you artificially yawn sometimes? Why do you think I'm artificially yawning? Can you get a 920 off, Addy? Bro, off? I can get a 950. Easy. Good enough. Where the fuck is my sandwich? Oh, he's not even. I thought he was at my apartment complex. Oh my god.
liberalism is something that emotionally I still like and still think is the right thing to do. But there is no denying that philosophically there are problems with liberalism. And it is in exploiting these problems that the left has managed to gain such ground. And the work we've done on this is extensive and voluminous and totally worth your time. For example, I did a big study on critical race theory in 2021-2022. I did lots and lots of videos of this that are on the website, just a general overview or an in-depth explanation, and drilling right down into what the purpose of critical race theory is. Because the purpose isn't merely social justice, obviously. The purpose is, of course, to instantiate communism. And this dovetails with the extensive work on liberalism because it is through the weaknesses, the philosophical and ideological weaknesses of liberalism, that critical race theory has gestated, developed, and finally burst out and conquered. This is why we're in this position, because liberalism can't mount a defense against critical race theory, because critical race theory comes from within liberalism. This is something that I've explained at length on the site, and honestly,
what is his alternative now?
I think it's totally worth your time to understand why this is the case, because it isn't that liberalism is evil. The problem with liberalism is that it is misguided, that it begins with false premises and then continues onto a conclusion that really is kind of undesirable, and actually you don't want to live in a purely liberal world. And it is the weakness of the purely liberal world that the critical race theorists are now weaponizing against the well-meaning and almost kind of naive liberals who think, well, can't we all just have a world where we have a certain set of enunciated rights and then be left alone to live our lives? And that would be lovely, wouldn't it? And that sounds great in theory, except when you start digging down further into it, you realize that actually this is a vulnerable structure that is just waiting for someone with ill intent to come along and attack it. And that's what wokeness is.
Wow. Thank you, Professor Sargon.
Speech about exactly how we will get this job done of shutting down the administrative state. But the reason I wanted to do it and wanted to recognize many of the people in the audience today is that you have been at the bleeding edge of this fight. This is not an individual sport. This is a team sport. There will be no political messiah coming from the White House on high to save us. If we are going to be saved, it is going to be because we save ourselves. And I think that that is the mentality that I respect most about this institute. And Brooke, I'd like to recognize Brooke Rollins for her outstanding leadership. Let's give her a round of applause as well for leading this great institute. So thank you, Brooke. I appreciate that. I want to kick this off by actually a reflection on national unity. We are deeply divided as a country today. And I think the way that some in both political parties imagine we might get to national unity is through compromise. It would seem to be the obvious approach, actually. If you have people who are badly divided, perhaps the way you get to uniting that country is through compromise. I actually reject that vision. I believe that the way we will unite this country is by being uncompromising about the principles that set the country into motion in the first place. I think we have to be honest with ourselves that America was not founded on moderate ideals. America was founded on radical ideals. That idea that you get to speak your mind, and you do, and you do, and you do too, as long as I get to in return. That is a wild idea for most of human history. It was done the other way. The idea that we're a nation not of men, but a nation of laws, founded on the rule of law.
Got into a car accident a few months back, and it made me realize I may be racist. It kind of sucks. Anyway, thanks for the content.
Okay.
Excellence without apology, that you get ahead in this country not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. These are extreme ideals. And the way we will reunite this country is not by hiding from the radicalism of the American Revolution, but by embracing it. That is our true strength, our diversity and our...
Hold on.
differences, that's not our strength. Our strength is what unites us across that diversity. That's actually the subject of the speech today. One of those, perhaps the most foundational of those radical ideals. A radical dream that our founding fathers had 250 years ago. A radical dream that I have, that many of us in this room share today as citizens in 2023. That the people who we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government. Not the managerial bureaucracy in three-letter government agencies, not elite leaders in the back of palace halls in old world England, not enlightened elites in the back of BlackRock's corner office in Park Avenue of Manhattan today, not monarchs sitting in three-letter government agency buildings here in Washington, D.C. That's what we're here to talk about. This is part of the project of reviving, but yes, also reuniting our country. And I will say at the outset, this is not a black idea or a white idea. This is not even a Republican idea or a Democratic idea. This is a fundamentally American vision that we fought a revolution to secure in 1776. That we, the people, create a government that is accountable to us, not the other way around. What's happened in the last century, and it did begin with Woodrow Wilson, the godfather of the modern administrative state, perpetuated by FDR, further exacerbated then by presidents and leaders of both political parties, is that we saw a gradual waterfall of political responsibility in this country, moving away from Congress and the Senate and the U.S. presidency towards three-letter government agencies that wield the most political power in the federal government, despite having the least political accountability through unelected bureaucrats who have no backstop of actually being accountable to the public. I often think about the standard we should...
What is his, when he says the FBI wields more power than Congress, what does he mean by that? Is he going to give examples? Like, is his goal, I'm curious what his goal is going to be. Are we just going to, do we elect personally, like, every single, I guess, like, the head of the FBI, the head of the CIA, the head of every three-letter agency, now we're going to elect? Is that, like, the goal, or what is the...
measure how well we're doing as a country is how Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, John Adams, how would they feel if they were walking around Washington, D.C. today? And these are men, by the way, who deeply disagreed with a lot of questions relating to the founding of our republic, but they agreed on one thing, that at the very least, the lawmakers and policymakers we elected should actually be the ones making public policy in this country. So against that backdrop, today I'm here to announce how we will revive the promise of that constitutional republic with 3 branches of government rather than 4. That is the purpose of our meeting today. And we're going to get into a level of detail that is, to this point in the last half century, unprecedented, which I believe will spawn nothing short of not incremental reform, but a revolution, a revival of the ideals of the American Revolution in how we actually restore that constitutional republic. First, it will be a plan that reduces the size of the federal employee headcount by over 75% if I'm the next president by the end of my first term, 50% of which is implementable by the end of year 1. Second, rescinding a majority, that is to say over 50% of federal regulations which fail the major questions doctrine at issue in West Virginia versus EPA, likely the most important Supreme Court case of our lifetime, decided last year. And third, the president's power to use executive authority to shut down redundant federal agencies and to reorganize the federal government accordingly. That's what we're going to talk about today. Thank you. Now, before I get into the details of the first 5 agencies we will shut down and the basis for rescinding a broad swath of federal regulations, it's first and most importantly worth understanding why it hasn't happened yet. This vision is not an original vision. I'll be the first to admit that. Good presidents, excellent presidents, from Reagan to Trump, have spoken to the same ideal, and I give credit to Donald Trump for taking more steps than have been taken in a generation in the direction with the Schedule F exceptions that they began late in the term, aided by many people in this room. That was a step forward. But in order to actually get this job done, we're going to have to confront several myths that have been perpetuated in this town by advisors and members of the very bureaucracy we're looking to shut down that we're going to have to confront and overcome to understand how the U.S. president can actually get this job done. We're going to go through those today. It's our first time doing a speech like this with visuals, so you'll have to be patient to see how this one goes. But I think it's important to understand the specifics. The first myth is that the President of the United States does not single-handedly have the ability to set what you would call the human resources policies, the hiring and firing policies in the federal government. That view is wrong. The truth of the matter is that the U.S. President actually enjoys broad statutory authority to prescribe the rules of the civil service. If you want the citation, turns out the President, and I'm going to read from the U.S. Code, may prescribe such regulations for the admission of individuals into the civil service of the executive branch that will best promote the efficiency of that service. That's 5 U.S.C. 3301. Now, most federal employees work in what's called the competitive service. Well, it turns out the rules governing the competitive service for the U.S. President are even broader, pursuant to 5 U.S.C. 3302, that says the U.S. President has similar power to, I quote the law, prescribe rules governing the competitive service,
Thoughts on
which
chess?
includes most federal bureaucrats.
Do you like it?
What does that mean? It's like the equivalent of working at a company. The HR department does not actually determine the rules without reporting into the CEO. It works the same way for the U.S. federal government as well. Well, that leads to a second myth that's perpetuated itself in this discussion of how we take on the administrative state. So far we've established that the U.S. president has, pursuant to 5 U.S.C. 3302, sole authority to set the regulations, the rules governing the Office of Personnel Management, governing the competitive service. Well, the myth number 2 that's been taken for granted in our national history is that the President of the United States is limited in his ability to fire those employees, pursuant to a part of the U.S. code known as 5 U.S.C. 7513A, which creates so-called for-cause limitations, which say that the U.S. president cannot fire a bureaucrat unless it is what you call for cause, breaking the law, doing something egregious. That's been the status quo in Washington, D.C. Turns out that is actually a myth. Turns out large-scale reductions in force are not covered by the statute. They're covered by a different statute, 5 U.S.C. 3502, that says that reductions in force are subject only to 60-day notice requirements and further what you call order of retention rules, the order in which you fire those employees. Think about it, the logic makes sense. If there's an individual federal employee who may disagree with the next U.S. president, who may have different views than I do on abortion or on gun control, but works in the EPA, these rules are designed to protect those employees from individual politicized...
This is a bit mental.
Like it or not, that is what the
75%. The thing is most people will buy into it because most people don't know how much actual work there is in civil service to do and maintain, not just including all the domain knowledge. I'd expect him to say it, I will fix everything.
Wow, thanks, buddy.
say. But they do not apply to reductions in force, large-scale mass layoffs. And large-scale mass layoffs are absolutely what we will bring to the D.C. bureaucracy, both because it is necessary and it is sanctioned by the law of the United States of America. Now, I believe in getting into detail. This is an occasion to dive deeper into that detail. Under the current rules, the rules governing how those employees are fired in large mass-scale layoffs are governed by the Office of Personnel Management and the OPM rules. The current OPM rules give that responsibility to agency heads. That is a fact. Well, I think that raises the importance of making sure the next U.S. president appoints agency heads in those roles who are prepared. I think it should be a litmus test for anybody who serves in a cabinet-level position, a litmus test that that agency head is prepared to carry out mass layoff, large reductions in force as laid out in the statute. However, if such agency head is even as unprepared to act after on the job, recall the first point that I mentioned. The U.S. president has sole authority to set the rules governing the Office of Personnel Management, which does absolutely give the duly elected president of the United States the power to single-handedly execute those large-scale layoffs and mass reductions in force. This completely subverts the traditional wisdom fed to U.S. presidents from Reagan to Trump over the last 40 years, but will be a necessary toolkit that says that the CEO, the leader of the executive branch, does indeed have the authority to decide who is and is not hired in the executive branch. And I'll tell you this, speaking as a CEO, if somebody works for you and you can't fire them, that means they don't work for you. It means you work for them because you're responsible for what they do without any authority to actually change it. But the beauty of this is that our law tracks this directly if we're willing to actually read the law.
Okay, I'm sorry. Isn't that kind of true, though? For the CEO of, like, a publicly traded company? For the CEO of a private company, you can fire and hire whoever the fuck you want. Everybody answers to you at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, for a publicly traded company, which if you're going to say the U.S. is a business, which is not, but if you're going to say the United States is a business, then you probably treat it as a company, as a publicly traded company, in which case you kind of, the CEO has to answer to the board, right? Like,
in totality. So now, because this is important, we're going to get a lot of pushback to this speech, I have no doubt about it. I want to go to actually a common misconception that comes up for how this is able to occur in practice. The next myth is that if you're carrying out these mass layoffs, you still have to do it within the structure of the existing agencies as they continue to exist. That's actually false. The myth is that the U.S. president does not have power to unilaterally reorganize or shut down federal agencies. Well, it turns out.
Thank you, babe.
Where I was to showcase the new Digimon TCG booster pack. It was a reprint. Oh, thank you, babe. It was a reprint of like the OG set or the OG 3 sets in a master compilation of like the 130 most popular OG Digimon cards. So any Digimon boomer would immediately like fuck with that set, right?
Yeah.
So I did a dank little sponsor post on Twitter, and I showed.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is, the key provisions of the 1977 Reorganization Act are actually still in...
Okay, bro, you have to do like bullet points or summaries of these things on your cards. It's not supposed to be entire pages from textbooks.
Effect. I'm going to read to you from the 1977 Act, 5 U.S.C. 901, active law today. And whoever thought it's worth paying attention to the words of the law itself. The president shall. There are statutes that say the president may. This is one of them. The president shall, from time to time, examine the organization of all agencies and determine what changes in such organization are necessary to carry out any policies set forth in this statute. What are the policies set forth in that statute? I've picked 2 examples for our purposes today. Number 1, to reduce expenditures and promote economy to the fullest extent consistent with the efficient operation of government. Number 2, to reduce the number of agencies by consolidating those having similar functions under a single head, and to abolish, that's not my word, that is a word in the statute, to abolish such agencies or functions thereof as may not be necessary for the efficient conduct of the government. This is not a suggestion to the U.S. President from Congress.
It was an Arnek meme. It was meant to be in response to someone.
President from Congress to exercise the authority to reorganize and shut down, statute's words, abolish such agencies if it promotes the economy, or in the alternative, if it eliminates redundant federal agencies. This completely debunks the traditional mythology that actually the way the U.S. President actually has to act is by going to Congress. Now, part of the reason why, and I'm going to show you here, is
when he talks about how he's going to shut down the administrative state, I guess what I was more interested in is like, what is his plan to like run things after? Like, how do we work with no 3-letter agencies? I didn't know it was just going to be a, well, here are the laws that I think give me the authority to do this.
After I remove that second truth, what you're going to see is a myth that says there's a Supreme Court case called INS versus Chada that actually in 1984 dealt with a correction to the 1977 Act. And this is arcane stuff, but this is actually important to get to the bottom of what's going on. What Congress said in 1977 is there could be a single House veto of a presidential reorganization pact. What the Supreme Court held to be unconstitutional in that case was actually the single House veto. So they said, no, you can't do it with the single House veto. It has to go through both chambers of Congress. That's what INS versus Chada said, but it's been misinterpreted and fed incorrectly to people who have occupied the position that I'm running to occupy to say that that stops the U.S. president from acting unilaterally. The truth of the matter is, those provisions that required the U.S. president to seek congressional consent, those provisions had deadlines. But the unexpired provisions that are still good on the books are the ones that actually mandate the U.S. president to examine the efficient functioning of government from time to time. So now we're going to get into the specifics of how this actually works. Okay, what agencies are we actually going to shut down and how? I mean, the final real myth here that I think we got to pay attention to is this idea that the administrative state, as we know it.
Something weird with the audio today. I don't know what happens with these types of audios. There's some weird stereo thing that goes on. I can change the mono, I guess. I don't know what he's got going on here.
An impartial scientific management project that is able to take on what we the people can't be trusted with. This is what's actually at stake here. It is a skepticism of we the people and our ability to settle our differences on questions from climate change to racial injustice. See, the old world view was that the people can't be trusted. The people can't be trusted to sort out how to address existential climate change. If we leave it to the people, our planet's going to burn its way to pieces. We're going to have systemically inequitable results amongst different races. This is what's baked in. It is that old world monster rearing its head again that is fundamentally skeptical of a self-governing people. But what we actually have in this country is a constitution that in Article 2 of the Constitution clearly states that the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States. And the person whom we elect to run that executive branch, the U.S. president, must actually once again be the person who actually runs that executive branch of government. That is the final myth that once we debunk it, we have democratic accountability once again, rather than puppets sitting in the White House, as I worry we have today, instruments of an administrative state. So the question is, how do we then, on the back of having debunked these myths, how do we actually proceed step by step to taking on and dismantling that administrative state? Well, it is the source of regulations, and we'll get to that in a second. But what about the regulations that are already on the books? This is where West Virginia versus EPA comes in. So this is likely the most important Supreme Court case of our lifetime when it comes to the ability to restore our constitutional republic. What the Supreme Court held here is that there are certain major policy questions. This is called the major questions doctrine that have to be decided by publicly elected representatives, those who serve in Congress and those who serve in the U.S. Senate. These questions cannot be delegated without express congressional authority to third-party administrative agencies. So here there was a clean power plan perpetuated by the Obama administration that came from the EPA that restricted what coal industry participants could and couldn't do. And the reason they found that violated the major questions doctrine, this is really important, is that would on net result in about $2,000 of added expense per American family. And that was a sufficiently major impact on the economy that it violated the ability of the administrative state to actually do it. Well, that was an outstanding decision, well argued from the current court, which I give the prior Republican president, President Trump, immense credit for giving us a court that came to the right place on this question. But now we have to take that to the next level. If those regulations in the Clean Power Plan were unconstitutional, then that quite literally means that most federal regulations, I don't use that colloquially, I mean that literally, a majority, quite likely an overwhelming majority of current federal regulations are unconstitutional under current law in the United States of America. And on day one, January 20th, 2025, it is the job and duty of the next president of the United States, under West Virginia versus EPA, to immediately rescind the effectiveness of a majority of those federal regulations. And I will give you a sense of how broadly that view actually spans, from independent contractor regulations that Obama had, Trump rolled back, Biden brought back. We have gig economy workers numbering in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, over 1 million across the country, covered by these regulations that were passed in violation of the major questions doctrine based on the West Virginia versus EPA standard. E-cigarette regulations from the FDA that are driving more of them into the black market, like many regulations at the FDA, which do not match any statutory authority that Congress ever gave to the FDA, are at once less effective in actually enforcing the laws on the books, while also creating the formula for the corruption that we now suffer today. And this is where I think we face a choice. Do you want incremental reform, replace Christopher Wray with James Comey or James Comey 2.0? Or recognize that it's actually the underlying machine that was the source of the corruption itself? And I believe the only correct answer to restore the integrity of our law enforcement apparatus will be to begin with shutting down an institution like the FBI itself. We'll move to the next institution, the U.S. Department of Education. In college tuition where it belongs, that's how you actually drive change. And so I'm going to go quickly through a sample of the remaining agencies that we will shut down in the same way. Take the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the three-letter agency that has stood in the way of advancing nuclear energy in this country in the name of promoting safety. We have no Gen 4 reactors in the US. The only country in the world that does is China. We have very few Gen 3 reactors. We have Gen 1 and Gen 2 reactors, which are 60 plus years old, which are less safe, even compared to Gen 3 and Gen 4 reactors. In the name of an agency, before its existence, you could build a nuclear power plant in 5 years in the United States. Now the average time is 25 to 40 years. Even as in Japan, it's closer to 5. In France, it's 5 to 8. Falls at the feet of what Brooke talked about at the very beginning, that administrative state. This was never passed through Congress, these regulations. It's fundamentally the culture of an agency that believes that there shouldn't be another nuclear power plant in the United States. And that's why since its inception, there has not been a single nuclear power plant built in the United States of America. What we say is, you can't reform an agency with that culture. You have to get in there and shut it down. Move a small number of the remaining employees to the DOE and to other parts of the government where they can use that expertise to promote.
Okay, this is fucking retarded. I don't know why I thought. Just gonna watch something of substance. My bad.
Game is frozen LUL.
500 blocks away.
Crafting.
So I will have a boat. I don't have a boat.
Game is frozen
I
LUL.
see a boat over there.
Crafting.
Oh, it's on 2. Look.
Game is frozen LUL.
What is this song? Why do I know this song? What game is this from?
85. Right, we have
Crafting.
5 beds.
Game
6
is frozen
beds.
LUL.
Just not gonna engage. Thanks for the content, Destiny Jesus. Hi, listen, I know you're a big Trump fan, but there's nothing to engage with when a guy's like, I'm gonna shut down all your executive agencies. No. It's fucking retarded. What am I supposed to engage with? I don't know. I don't know what you want me to engage with. Like, wow, great idea. Like, what am I? There's nothing to engage with. It's fucking. It's a by retard for retards plan that's supposed to make dipshits like you run on Twitter and get excited because you have no idea how any of these fucking agencies function. Like imagine gutting every single executive agency. We're gonna have what? We're gonna have 50 different set of environmental policies, one for every single state. We're gonna have 50 different sets of nuclear policies, one for every state. We're gonna. Do we have no more federal law ever now? If the FBI is abolished completely, what else was there? No more Department of Education. There's no federal standards, no federal funding for education. Like, it's fucking retarded. Okay, there's not. Go fight if you want. I'm sure there's. I don't even know who would engage with it. Go, yeah, I don't know. Go find somebody else to do. There's nothing for me to even engage with. It's fucking retarded.
All right, I see the stronghold.
Yeah, I'm sure Rob Nor will tell you how amazing it would be to show. I don't even know if Rob Nor would take a position that retarded. Why am I watching this? Is he even remotely close to being where he needs to be? Oh, he is. He found the...
leveled up.
Oh my god.
Welcome badges to the applications of Versen's Law 101.
Why would Vivek even suggest shutting down so many agencies? Because for conservatives, small government equal good, big government equal bad. Smart government equal better. So shut them down possible. That's literally the extent of the thought process. That's it. That's it. If you're looking for anything deeper, you're going to be sorely disappointed. 1630, right? Oh my
Why
god.
do I always get these fucking broken ass motherfuckers?
Zoomer Slash.
Was that
Plays
it? No, that
Minecraft.
wasn't it. That wasn't it. That
That's a
wasn't it.
big-
That wasn't it. We weren't looking at it, right? The
Slash.
stairs leading up.
Slash Stro.
They're always
Game
broken.
LAN world.
Every time.
Percent. Game is frozen. LUL. Option. Game is frozen. The nearest stronghold. Teleported Zoomer Slololiolo to minus 1367.5, 63.8094867418929094, minus 1003, generating God Seed 0%. Generating God
so
Seed.
fucking unlucky, man.
Generated
Every
Dream
fucking
Seed.
time.
Generating God
So
Seed
unlucky.
0%.
So unlucky.
Generating God Seed 0%. Generating Give feedback. Generated Dream Seed.
Melvor Idol Dev says Destiny's Melvor streams double the game's players. Wait, really?
Like Reddit and Discord and whatnot. So when did you, as the developer with all the stats behind the scenes, when did you really notice the community was growing?
So we've had quite a few instances where the community has grown substantially, like overnight, basically. I think the first, thing that happened was, I think in 2020 sometime, a streamer named Destiny just decided to suddenly play Melva Idol every single day on stream to his audience for about an entire month, I think. And that the first day he streamed, our player count doubled straight away. without fail.
Jesus. This is why people pay us the big bucks to advertise our games, guys. I never even got paid by Melvor.
So our player count doubled, and we retained those players, and it kept going, right? So that was our first jump, and the first, like, whoa, like, our game is starting to get noticed here. It's still...
You know how much stuff is made with corn? Corn's in almost everything you eat.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Tomatoes? Okay, so tomatoes are made of corn. Let's see, what else do I eat? Do you want me to get, like, all the shit I eat out of my fucking cupboard? How about this?
Yeah, bring
let's
it all.
go fucking
Bring
do
your
that
whole
right
icebox, dude. Roll it up here and open that door.
now. Let's see.
Why does he have tomatoes on his desk? On a vine?
Let's see, tell me. What's in... Let's see, we got some soy protein isolate right here. I eat this every day. We got lentils, this is the bulk of my diet. Got oats here. Got nutritional yeast. Tell me, which of these fucking products contain corn, dude? Huh? I eat corn?
Hey, go get the rest of it.
Really? Okay, sure, I'll get my entire fucking kitchen.
Richard,
What?
you calm down. You're scaring the fucking animals.
I'll get my entire goddamn kitchen. Let's see.
You're scaring the animals.
Yeah.
Can you calm down?
Yeah.
You're screaming like crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Stop.
I feel bad for his wife.
Okay, let's see. Tell me. Here's some yellow. Oh no, this is brown rice. Does brown rice contain fucking corn? Let's see what else. We got a sack of potatoes here. Do potatoes contain corn? Yellow split peas. Is this fucking corn? Oh, I got green peas. Is this corn? Where's the goddamn corn, dude? Tell me where the fucking corn is.
I don't know. Where somebody link me the Vosh streamable clip. I see people linking in kick chat about him utilitarianism.
That's bizarre. I can't explain all ethical philosophy to you because rule utilitarianism.
I know what a rule utilitarian is, so
then why are you asking me?
Because a rule utilitarian would still have to follow utils. In this particular case, at all thing equal, there is no there is no negative utils which are applied. Your answer should be, as a utilitarian, to say that that's fine. I don't see how you could get away with
because the point of
regardless of rule
otherwise
utilitarianism.
everything would just be act utilitarianism. The point of rule utilitarianism is that you have sort of social boundaries and guidelines and ethical expectations that exceed individual assessments of the utility.
Unless they give because those give negative utils. So that's why I said all things equal, there's no negative utils.
So I can't explain if you don't understand. Okay, here's a good example, okay? Imagine, so it is unethical to punch somebody, like out of nowhere. That's generally not good. You shouldn't do that. However, imagine a person had like divine...
Hold on one sec.
Let me serenade you, L, 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 L.
True.
precog, and they could know for an absolute fact that if they punch this one random dude on the street, it will actually be good for them, because when they go to the hospital for their broken nose, it'll be discovered that they have a relatively benign brain cancer tumor. So in reality, punching them will be a way to help them get treatment early.
Why would you want a relatively benign tumor removed? I don't even know what we're talking about, but okay.
Early, and will actually save 30 years of their life. Now, even under those circumstances, if we could know for an absolute fact that the consequence of punching that person would be morally good, I still think it would be morally right for them to be arrested.
And the reason
for
you
assault.
think that is because there would be societal negative utils. So that's why I said all things equal, there's no societal negative utils. Why would it not be okay from your worldview for people to have sex with dead bodies?
If you are detaching this from ethics so much to the point where even rule utilitarianism doesn't have any consideration, you might as well be asking if it's ethical to f a corpse in a dream. Like you're asking about something that can't happen in reality. In reality, the consequences of rule utilitarian analysis would always apply because you're always subject to the broader.
Do you know what a hypothetical is? A hypothetical is not designed necessarily to be mapped onto reality.
This. Can you please just tell me what outcomes or what anything you want to do to reality? Please.
I've already told you multiple times. First thing I would do is stop abortion. Second thing I would do is put a halt on underage people being able to be allowed to have unfettered access to pornography.
Okay, thank you.
The
so
internet.
no, wait. The ethics I wanted to know. So you said divine
Yes, this would be
command theory.
Christian ethics. Christian ethics.
Okay, Christian.
Do you need me to
so
break those down for you?
So Christian. No, well, yes, please. I want to know what you're trying to do here. So Christian ethics.
So
you
Christian
feel...
ethics work around virtues and they work around duties.
Okay, virtue,
and
ethics,
there is
divine
overlap
command
with
theory.
outcomes sometimes because duties sometimes lead to outcomes which can be negative, and so you adjust duties accordingly.
What tells you what a duty is?
God,
this
right?
is divine command for us
yeah.
Christians.
Yeah, so what tells you? How do you know?
We would know this through church authority.
Through church authority?
Yes.
That's where most religious command comes from. Yes, Vosh. Is that surprising?
So just any old pastor, like your whole ethical system would change?
No,
if a
churches
different member
are a
of the
whole
church-
holistic system. There's only two churches which exist, the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church. There's a series of
Wait, are you Catholic or Orthodox, out of curiosity?
I'm Orthodox. There's a series
Yeah, I'm sure.
of,
Wait, when did you convert?
2 years ago.
Oh, I bet. I'm sure. Okay, right.
What does this have to do with anything? Do you have a refutation or not?
Oh, refutation of what argument, of what logic?
That there's only two whole holistic churches.
Yeah, I'd say that there are like a million Protestant churches.
There's also stuff like this
Andrew
question.
did answer your question on this one, so I do think
Answer mine. Is it immoral to have sex with a dead body or not, Bosch?
Yeah, probably. Shouldn't do that. Seems bad.
Okay, why?
Because I think that if nothing else, like leaving aside the biological answers for that, I think we have very strong cultural precepts of right for the dead. I think that this is really like touchy ground because rights of the dead is complicated because they're not like living people. But there are things even in a utilitarian framework where you can acknowledge that there is a kind of broader cultural respect that we have for subjects.
There's also a broad cultural understanding of slavery. I don't know if that's the best answer, but okay.
Outside the purview of pure human behavior. So
and last question, and then I'll answer.
Well, I just want to know what you want.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I just want to know this.
But then it's like it doesn't matter.
If all things were equal, and a person having sex with a dead body did not negatively affect anybody through utility, there was no negative utils that you could point to, would you be for it?
No, for it, I wouldn't be for it.
Would you allow people to do it?
Would I allow people to? I think it is unethical in that context.
The answer to this question always has to be, by definition, yes, you would allow it. If something incurs no negative utility and you're a utilitarian, then by definition, it's like asking a virtue ethicist if an action violated no virtue, or a deontologist if an action violated no obligation, would it be allowed? Then the answer is always going to be yeah. It has to be yes.
Context still because of rule utilitarianism. Now, if you could stop projecting your kink onto the discussion, I would like.
Why would this be against rule utilitarianism?
Because rule
utilitarianism.
That's bizarre. I can't explain all ethical philosophy to you because rule
you don't
utilitarianism.
Need to. I know what a rule utilitarian is. So
then why are you asking me?
Because a rule utilitarian would still have to follow utils. In this particular case, at all thing equal, there is no negative utils which are applied. Your answer should be, as a utilitarian, to say that that's fine.
Correct.
I don't see how you could get away with
because the
you
point
can't get away with it.
Otherwise, everything would just be act utilitarianism. The point of rule utilitarianism is that you have sort of social boundaries and guidelines and ethical expectations that exceed individual assessments of the utility.
Unless they give because those give negative utils. So that's why I said all things equal. There's no negative utils.
So I can't explain if you don't understand. Okay, here's a good example. Okay, imagine so it is unethical to punch somebody, like out of
Second thing I would do is put a halt on underage.
Tell system would change.
No, churches are a whole holistic system. There's only two churches which exist: the Catholic Church.
I've said this multiple times, but I think you crushing BPF made a ton of people think he's retarded. You might not agree with him, but he's very intelligent. I don't know if I've ever crushed BPF. He has like a very obnoxious style of debating that is pretty unsatisfactory, I think, for all parties involved. I don't know if I've ever been in a debate where I've like crushed him. I think most of the debates just ground out some autistic shit. But he's not stupid. I would never call. I don't think BPF is stupid. I just think he drama farms too hard on Twitter sometimes, and he's a wacky religious dude. But he's not dumb.
Church and the Orthodox Church. There's a series of.
Wait, are you? They are their church authority. That's the point.
They can't be their church authority because they believe in sola scriptura. They get all of their ethical commands through the Bible alone.
Okay, so hold on really quick. So do you think, so hold on, which is correct then, the Catholic or the Orthodox church authority?
The Orthodox church authority is correct, yeah.
Okay, so not the Catholic. So
even the Catholics recognize that the church authority of the Orthodox is also correct.
Okay, so you agree then with the precepts of the current Pope and all of the statements that he's made?
No. They agree with us. We don't agree with them.
Whoa, hold on. He was chosen by God, was he not?
No.
Oh, then where in the Orthodox Church?
Okay, one more time. You're not listening, so just listen, and you'll get this. The Catholics agree with us and our church doctrine. We don't agree with theirs.
So your doctrines are different?
Yes, we don't have popes. But they concede that we have correct theology and church authority, yes.
Even though you disagree with them. How does that work?
We don't agree with them. They agree with us. I just said this 4 times.
So right, you've said it, but it doesn't make sense.
Are you, bro?
If they think that
I would generally like to avoid.
I want to know. Like this is like.
I just said this 4 times.
So you've said it, but it doesn't make sense. So I'm asking.
How does it not make sense?
I'm trying to explain to you.
Vosh agrees with me, but I don't agree with Vosh. What's wrong with that statement, Vosh?
So considering the fact that churches and
no. What's wrong with that statement, Vosh? Answer my question, Vosh. Stop pivoting from every question I ask you. I just answered all of yours.
If you get so triggered, we can't even talk. There's no point in talking.
Bro,
right?
you just pivot.
We finally
stop pivoting.
After years.
Stop pivoting.
Let him finish answering. Why
won't he answer? You won't enforce him answering mine. Only me answering his.
It's hysteria.
So force him answering mine now.
Hang on. I literally did that like.
I just want to ask a question. I just have. innocent.
Let's just let him ask his question. I promise you. After that, if he doesn't answer your question, I will force that as well.
Vosh, why does it make no sense?
Sure, yeah, because churches, and I know this for a fact with the Catholic Church, not only are there like different groups of Catholics, right? It's not just one group, and there are groups of the Catholics who don't agree with the Pope and this, that, the other, but also considering the fact that churches tend to have pretty...
Wait, hold on, I'm sorry, I might be fucking retarded. Remember, not the best of biblical scholarship, but by definition, can there be groups of Catholics that don't listen to the Pope? Isn't kind of like, I thought kind of a big part of Catholicism is the Pope. No? Am I wrong? I feel like that would be probably like the defining feature of a Catholic is, do you believe in the secession of popes from Peter or whatever?
Holistic worldviews when it comes to all of the precepts of the religious text.
There used to be anti-popes. To be fair, I mean, if you want to get historical, there have been times in history where there have been multiple popes. I'm pretty sure there was a time during... Man, was it the 1500? I don't fucking remember. But I'm pretty sure there was a time where there were 3 different popes at one point in time that all declared themselves the rightful pope. But like, it wasn't like everybody was recognizing that there were 3 legitimate popes. It was that there was an actual fight over who the real pope was, right? But
authority and all the ways in which they should act and all their ethical precepts. The idea that the Catholic Church could just wholesale endorse the Orthodox Church while the other way around doesn't really work. If the Orthodox Church believes things that are contradictory to the Catholic Church couldn't endorse those contradictory practices. That doesn't help me understand. I'm curious.
They agree with us
on what,
and they agree with our doctrine. We do not agree with their doctrine. So it's like Vosh saying, "I agree with everything Andrew says." Okay, but I'm still going to live my life and
I would
whatever
never say that.
differently than how Andrew does. Okay,
What do you disagree
can
with
still
the Catholics on?
both of these things can be true at the same time without any problem. Now back to my question.
Wait, what
Now
do
it's
you
time-
disagree with
now
the
it's my
Catholics on?
now it's my turn.
I just
remember?
want to know. I've never talked to a member of the Orthodoxy
I just
before.
answered your question. Now,
And yeah, Vosh, let him ask the question.
I have to catch up on my religious history before I can challenge these big brain points. But
yeah,
go
so
ahead.
now kind of back to my question. Yes, there's only 2 churches which have actual holistic views. So Protestants, generally speaking, do not, and they actually concede that they don't because they can't. Now, when you're talking about Christian nationalism in and of itself, of course, I would always advocate for my church to be the church that was, cooperating with the government, or even in some cases being the government if necessary. But you yourself would advocate for the same thing with your communism. You don't want MAGA communism. You don't want tanky communism.
What
You want
question are you
Vosh
answering?
brand. You want Vosh brand communism. So the criticism applies to you as much as it applies to me.
Andrew, is there a question there though?
I have no idea what
Well, okay. So the question becomes: is that not true?
Okay.
That different people have different ideas. Yes, I've noticed that happens sometimes in my day-to-day
Yeah,
life.
so you would advocate for your brand of this. So whatever criticism you want to give me for the fact that there's tons of sects of Christianity, this also is true of communism. You have to contend with that as much as I do.
Well, there aren't any sects of communism. There are different ideas.
I mean, tomato, right?
Ideas, sure. But I guess like my curiosity would be...
What do you mean they're not sects? What's a sect?
I think that sect is a religious term, is it not? Does it just refer...
Is that... I mean... Okay.
Broadly to like different groups of people? Because if that's the case, sure, there are plenty of sects of communism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I assumed it was like a religious connotation. I don't know what this was in response to. I guess the issue is that I still have no idea what your like fundamental ethical basis is. I think that the human...
What is Christian? Then tell me what Christian ethics are.
How the should I know? All of you have different
I just
ideas.
explained
You're all
them
like
to
complete...
you.
How is it possible for person A to say person B speaks the truth when person B says person A does not speak the truth, while person A simultaneously says person A... Well, no, hold on. Now, I don't know what Andrew's talking about in particular here, but the logic is sound. It could be that A agrees with all of B, and B doesn't agree with all of A, because one side is making broader claims than the other, right? One person could believe A and B, and another person could believe A, B, and C. So the person that believes A, B, and C thinks that the person that believes A and B is correct in those beliefs and agrees with those beliefs, but the person that believes in A and B doesn't agree with the person that believes A, B, and C because that person's belief system encompasses more or something, right? Yeah, we're just talking about subsets. Like, technically, logically it works. Now, in practice, You know, if somebody's believing in, you know, not this or not that, and the other person's believing in that, then you're gonna run into contradictions where neither side can affirm one another. But that logically it's possible, right? I don't know what the fuck Orthodox people believe. I have no idea, so I can't like give you a. I don't even know what the fuck Orthodox is. So yeah, I couldn't tell you what the differences in beliefs are. So.
Incoherent every time I talk to a Christian, so I have no idea. I will never know. I don't think. I asked you and you got mad at me, so I feel like
no, I didn't get mad at you. I explained them to you.
So okay, where does your divine command theory come from?
God.
Okay, how do you know your God is the correct one?
Well, regardless, even if I was wrong, let's just assume for a second I was completely wrong and my God was not the correct one. This really doesn't change the question of Christian nationalism and whether I think that both the results and the things that I want to see in society would be correct. So regardless of even if all of the beliefs from which I derive divine command would be false, the integration with the state would still be what I would advocate for, just like you, the communist. Even if your beliefs are fundamentally false, based on nothing more than your ideas, you still want to integrate them and see them in society. So we're not here to have a religious debate over whether God is real. We're here to have a debate over whether or not Christian nationalism is something that can even be done. I propose that it is, and I propose that the ideas are better than your communist outlook, which we're much closer to than we are a Christian outlook.
God willing, inshallah, yes, of course. So, again, how do you know that your God is real? Like, how do you know that you have the right set of moral precepts?
What is that? If you can tell me what this has to do with the topic of the debate, I'll engage with it.
It's literally the foundational position of your entire ethical system.
Okay, well then, how do you know communism is true?
Okay, sure. I mean, we can talk about my ethical system. So, as a utilitarian, I believe in maximizing a set of axioms that I've arbitrarily determined to be things that I prioritize. I think that you could use.
So you don't know it's true.
I don't think you can make metaphysical assessments.
Well, then why are you asking me what's true?
Because I'm not making a determinative statement about my metaphysical beliefs.
Is anything ever true?
No, wait, hold. Well, I mean, that really depends on what you mean by true. But you're the one making.
So can you know objective truths? Can you know something is 100% true? Can you know that?
It really depends on the definitions. You'd have to define all of your terms. But also, you're the one. The legitimacy of your claims sort of rests upon the idea that your moral beliefs, your duties, your precepts, your obligations, or whatever, are ones that I should respect.
Why am I even getting
my
damaged by
axioms
here?
are things like human happiness, which I challenge you. If you don't respect things like human happiness, I would argue that you don't even have a right to be dictating policy for anybody because you
Based
are
on what? You
anti-human.
just said that your system is arbitrary. So why should I respect an arbitrary system that doesn't even claim to have any sort of command other than what you come up with out of your own brain as a preference?
This is like you getting upset with somebody else because you're arguing that their decisions aren't even made by the invisible friend that you have. Like, this isn't a battle that
who are your decisions made by? You?
So, do you believe that human happiness is a worthwhile goal in terms of maximization?
I think that happiness is something that should be adjusted for, but it's not the primary duty of people to make other people happy.
Adjusted for. Okay. So do you think that a world in which people are happier is a better world than a world in which people are less happy, all other things being equal?
If all things were equal, I would say that if you had a happier population, that would be better than not having a happier population. Yes, than a less happy population with all things equal. Now, let me ask that question back to you. Okay, if all things were equal and people prospered, but they were less happy than a nation that prospered less and that nation was happier, which nation would you prefer to prosper? Which one would you prefer to live in?
What do you mean by prosper?
So their health is better, their dynamics are better, almost everything is better. They're just a little bit less happy than the other nation.
A little bit less happy?
Yeah, just a little bit less.
Well, I feel like those things would kind of be factored into the happiness. But if you're arguing like people are
I just said all things
happier-
equal, Vosh. I answered your question in good faith, answered mine in good faith. If all things are equal, one population is just slightly less happy, but the other population by every other metric is doing better than the population that's just slightly less
But
happy.
that's not all other things being
It's your
equal.
moral imperative to go to the population which is less happy.
You can't.
Yeah,
say,
it's
you
baked
can't
into the hypothetical. All things equal.
You can't say all things
That's
equal and then
baked-
say every other thing is
Bro,
different.
you
but
can't ask
why do
me
you-
the
why are
same
you so-
question.
Wait, hold on.
You-
I'm answering your question. I'm
If
just
this
saying
is
you
the most
misused
bad
the
faith
term.
debate tactics I've
Andrew,
ever
oh
seen.
my God! I'm answering your question. You're so like right off the cuff. You're so ready to be triggered.
do it.
I was
Then
just
answer
I
it.
was just pointing out it's funny that you would say all things being
Yeah.
equal, but then you would say
Then
okay, but
answer the
every other
question.
thing is different.
Yeah.
I guess that would. I guess I'm just struggling to imagine. But if it's like they're much healthier and more prosperous, I guess. I think it would really depend on other circumstances because there are other axiomatic values that I think you could adjust for.
So then happiness is not the primary value. So then shut up, Vosh. No, your argument's stupid. Your argument's stupid.
So no, it's one of them. That's why I said axioms with an S. There are multiple things that you would try to adjust for.
So why tell me, Andrew, we can't accept your system because it doesn't make happiness the primary thing. And then when I give you the same exact example back, you also claim happiness can't be the primary thing.
I didn't say that.
Multitudes of things that you have to adjust for, Vosh.
Okay, so what are the multitudes of things for you? What divine?
So I would look at virtues. I would look at duties.
What's a virtue?
I would look at outcomes. I would look at all of these as a holistic.
Outcomes
as a holistic.
So you notice how every time I ask you for specific questions about what it is you're trying to do or what changes you're trying to make, you sort of generalize by waving your hands at this broad, vague, indeterminable like group of virtues that you probably don't actually subscribe to or believe in. Early on in this debate, you pointed
Which
to
virtues do you think I don't subscribe to?
You haven't listed any, so I can't.
You haven't even asked me what they are.
I have. I've been asking, dude. You can't be like, bro. You haven't. You didn't even ask. I've been asking for like half an hour for you to give me some understanding.
You say, give me a broad overview, and when I do, you say, no. Why didn't you give me anything more specific?
What outcome?
This is
To be fair, Andrew did say about banning abortion. That's one he gave, and the second one he gave is I know there was one more. It was something about.
So those are policy positions, but why is the question?
You asked for those too. I've answered every question you've had, and you've been as evasive as possible.
So why are these things virtues? What is a virtue? Give me an example. Policies to maximize what?
So if you're talking about virtues themselves, when you were talking about virtue as morality, virtues are the building blocks of what makes a person a person. So we're looking at the actual behaviors of the person to judge whether or not the person is moral. That would be a virtue.
Okay.
So I can give you many of those types of virtues. I think you would likely agree with them. But with the virtue, in Christian ethics comes duty. So you have a duty, for instance, to obey Lord Jesus Christ's teachings. You have duties to do these things as well. So these things work together. The church itself has given virtues which are passed down from Christ Lord, who explains what these virtues are supposed to be and how you are supposed to act and behave in society and how you're supposed to act and behave towards other people or untowards to other people.
And why should we
under
listen
your
to
system?
Those?
Why should I listen to yours? It's the same criticism back.
I keep answering this, and I don't think. No, please, please, you
please,
can't keep misunderstanding.
Please, same answer because it's axiomatic.
So. That's not what I was going to say. You don't even understand.
That's what your answer was. Your answer was just that it's axiomatic.
You have to earn the right to be blasé and dismissive about another person's ideas. You have to know what they are first.
Damn.
So the difference is, I don't think you can make determinative claims about the metaphysical. I think that in order to have any ethical system, you have to admit that there is a degree of arbitrarity and bias, and you have to work from that. The problem that I have with divine command theory is not that it's metaphysical in nature, because so is mine. The difference is that I acknowledge the arbitrarity, something I think everyone has to.
Why would that make it better?
So you have to let me finish, because you make it up. So it's like the difference.
So do you.
So no, there's a huge difference.
It's the same criticism applied.
No,
so
please,
do you.
Andrew, you are so ready to interrupt, okay? So there is a huge difference.
Well, otherwise you'll go on a diatribe for the next year.
You could learn from it.
Ooh.
There is a huge difference between saying, I don't think we can make determinative metaphysical statements. However, I do think that
is that a determinative statement?
Please.
Andrew, let's let Vosh finish his point, and then you can respond.
Go ahead.
However, if we decide to prioritize these things, I think it's good for people. So, for example, I don't think it's possible to object.
Is there VidCon panel a debate or an open discussion? I don't know.
The difference is I'm the one.
I'll get more information closer to that.
2,000 years ago who says I don't know why the lightning strikes, and you're the one who says that it must be because the gods are angry. You make fun of me for not being willing to make a statement you can't justify, but that's your weakness in my logic.
Whoa.
So I can acknowledge
epic Vosh rant
of metaphysical arguments, and I think it's a necessary presupposition when discussing ethics. Your arguments rely on a presumptive statement about the metaphysical.
Did you see the TikTok red pillar reply to a libs of TikTok clip of yours? Libs of TikTok made a clip of mine? I don't even know what that sentence meant.
Initiative, right? That try to like have sex with people are usually the ones that are
September 18th. That's today.
guys that take initiative, right? That try to like have sex with people are usually the ones that are doing it.
Destiny has done us the favor of coloring himself entirely blue so that we know what side he's on. In this clip, he says that for men who are trying to get laid, basically, that money doesn't matter, and looks don't matter, and even your BMI doesn't matter. It's just how hard you try. And the reason that he's so confused is because his brain has been stuck on this level for quite some time. Remember radical relativism? Destiny says some things in this clip that are true. He says that men with money are not going into poor neighborhoods and just taking all the women. He says that BMI doesn't matter up to a certain point, which is kind of critical. But ultimately, the point he makes is that what matters most in sexual success is the effort you make. And what he's forgetting to take into account is quality. No matter how hard this guy tries, he's not having kids with this woman. And people who are stuck on this level...
I'm sorry, what is the main incel complaint that they can't fuck 10s and 9s? Is that... What?
Funny thing about them is that they hate the suggestion that there are levels of anything. So when Destiny says that it's effort that matters most, what he's saying is that a 2 that tries hard will get more 2s than a 2 that doesn't try hard. But then he also says that looks and money and body type don't matter, which...
I don't think looks and money and body type don't matter. I'm just saying that if you look at the numbers, I know the guys get triggered by fucking stats, but if you look at the numbers, these things don't correlate to a higher body count, that's just empirically true. I'm sorry if that offends you, but...
They unequivocally do. So even though he says some true things, the way he says it makes it sound like this is not real, which it is. So everything he says in that clip is true only from the point of view.
This guy isn't even making the correct incel argument. The correct argument has never been that Chads fuck Chads and 2s fuck 2s and that 5s fuck 5s and that 7s fuck 7s. That's never been the argument. The argument is that 9s and 10s are fucking all of the 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s. That's the argument. The argument has always been that the what is it? Like, what do the guys say? What's the number there? Is it 10% of the men are fucking 80% of the women or some shit? That's always been the argument. I mean, if he wants to change it to like, well, no, people that are 4s and 5s and 6s and 7 can fuck at their level if they just put effort into it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're just describing the ordinary world then. Yeah, people probably tend to stick to their own, within their own class, within their own, yeah. But I've said just as much, like a million times. You should debate this guy? I mean, if he wants to, but red pill shit makes me want to kill myself. But I mean, like, yeah, this is obviously true.
That there are no such things as more and less desirable people.
Of course there are more and less desirable people. It also annoys me, and I guess maybe because the guy doesn't know anything about me or who I am, or maybe he does, he just doesn't care, I guess, but like, I'm a decently smart person. Do you really think I would make a statement like that? Oh yeah, there's no such things as people that are more or less desirable than like, that's such an obviously untrue statement. Like, why would you even assume that I have the capacity to say something so stupid? But whatever. Back to
God.
this.
That you can't justify, and that is the critical difference.
True,
if you ask me, how do you know that human happiness is good to prioritize for? I would answer, you know what? I don't think I can objectively prove that. I think I can gesture at what human happiness has done for the world.
So then you have nothing.
And I think that it makes people better. I think that it improves things.
So then you.
Whereas
I want to tell you.
I'm almost done. You keep trying to like jump in.
Please. When you're almost done, how much longer does that mean?
Do you want me to give you a timer?
I'll give him another 30 seconds, and then I'll let you interrupt.
Yeah. So the difference with you is that for your positions to make sense, you're referring to like the word of God. You have to explain why that should be listened to. My argument for why my axioms are relevant is to gesture at the world and say, is happiness not good? That's the most I can do. Yours is to say, well, you
dumpster.
You also can't prove your axioms, which I know. That's the point, but you have to prove yours because otherwise you're essentially engaging in like a postmodernist defense of not believing in God while repeating his suppositions. It makes no sense.
As stated before, and you just demonstrated, any criticism you move towards me is equally applied to you. You just got done stating that your system is arbitrary. Let me finish. That your system is arbitrary, that your system is not grounded, that you yourself and your axioms cannot be demonstrated, while demanding that I demonstrate mine. However, if I'm going from your worldview, which I'm just trying to do, I'm just trying to go from your worldview, the utilitarian worldview.
Yeah.
I still can make a better case for why Christian ethics in society is far superior to your libertarian communism, and have made good arguments for why that is the case, even just using birth rates, and you have refuted none of it. This is a joke. By the way, you say that you can't make a deterministic statement, which is a deterministic statement. How dumb are you, Vosh?
Again, I refer to my anecdote about 10,000 years ago watching lightning crash in the sky. Where you're like, dude, yeah, I think it's the angry men in the sky. You don't even know what it is. You admit you don't know. So now you're saying that I'm wrong when I say it's angry men in the sky. It's like returning to
you can make elevators infinite length if you connect two conveyor holes together. Is that true?
The shadow puppets could dance on the walls in front of you, and you could have your entire ethical system be rewritten.
Well, Vosh, do you agree with me that you would not actually have to demonstrate the existence of God in order to have a nation which was governed by a church, or who had a synergistic relationship with a church, even if they couldn't prove God? Because
Only if you wanted to make an
you
argument
agree to
for
that, then that has nothing to do with the debate, me proving God is real to Vosh.
If you want to make an argument for the existence of that state, then yeah, you kind of would need to, because why else would I care about the responsibilities laid out by Christ?
Why would we care about the responsibilities laid out by utilitarians, which are arbitrary and can't be demonstrated by the utilitarian's own mouth?
So again, I don't know how many times I can keep explaining this to you, but you seem to have a fundamental misunderstanding of what a prescriptive meta-ethical statement is.
Damn,
you know what
the big words.
Because this could go on forever, and the whining of Christians is fun up to a point. I don't think you actually believe in any of this, including the religion. I think that we saw this at the very beginning of the debate, where you pretended that human happiness
nothing is a declarative statement is true according to you.
You really
so who
do
cares?
sound like a nagging wife, don't you? The way you keep talking over other people, but your voice will never be as deep as mine.
Oh yeah,
you
that's
can't
me,
hit
not
my
you.
lows. You can't hit my bass.
I have a degree in sociology.
Does that make you feel better?
Wait, do you have a degree in sociology?
sociology?
Are you threatened by my education? Did you know that liberals tend to be better educated?
Well, at some point, maybe you would use it to make an argument. That'd be great.
Well, it's like I'm trying to explain sociology to like a monkey, and it is true that my degree is failing me somewhat. So I can't convince you that you're meta-ethically retarded. Let me try this, okay?
That's because you don't know what
you don't know what meta-ethics are, right? I agree. So it's like you'd have to do too much work to begin with. The problem ultimately is that you don't believe in anything you're saying. If a person actually believed in Christian ethics, there are a trillion things you would care to fix about the world. The cruelty and graft and vice and sin, the hatred and misery. But you are largely fine
with this. That would require people.
Hold on.
That would require people, Bosch.
Hold on.
Andrew, he made a very strong statement. Let's let him try to explain what his reasoning is. Go ahead.
See, I know Christians. A lot of my extended family are Christians.
And
good
I know
Christians
communists.
too. Oh, you literally cannot help yourself.
Go ahead, Bosch.
And a lot of them, when you talk about what is sin, what is of concern of Christ, there is so much misery in this world. But I've seen your politics, and I know what you believe, and you just believe the same shit that like regular fascists believe, more or less. Like the Christian conservatism thing is often like promoted by people with a very low.
I just want to say that the Christian nationalist idea is fundamentally un-American. The separation of church and state is an important part of being able to give people the ability to express their freedom under the First Amendment. I think most Christian nationalists have like a different interpretation of the founding of America, or they try to say that actually the founding fathers read religiosity into the part of the United States because it needed like a moral people or some shit. They'll always like they have like that kind of weird setup going.
Low investment of Christianity. It's the same way that fascists wrap themselves in the flag before making.
Now I'm a
arguments.
fascist.
Your name was Big Papa Fascist.
Yeah, but you also know that was a debate handle. That was explained to you. And
Okay,
you know
gotcha.
that it's
That
true.
was right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The Christian,
wait.
the
Can you
Christian
tell me what
nationalism-
fascist
hold on.
policies I want?
The Christian nationalism angle.
No,
is
you
just
can't make the
another
claim I'm
way
a fascist,
of,
and
I
you
just want to
claimed I'm
state
a
that this
fascist.
Christian
Oh my
nationalist
God,
idea
dude!
is fundamentally un-American.
I read you.
Is this going to be every time I talk for more than 5 seconds? Like I can
Well,
let you talk for a
dude,
while. I admit,
go back
I'm
and forth
talkative
then.
too. But like, holy shit! I don't think anyone who is genuinely motivated by the word of Christ could ever have a conversation like this and be like, oh, you know what I would change? Abortion. Like there are so many trillions of things. A real Christian would be outraged at like Donald Trump's presidency, for example, because he's one of the most flagrant grifters and most openly anti-human individuals to ever occupy the office. But it's always like, oh, so what angle are you going to bring? What Christian angle are you going to bring to governance? Oh, the exact same stuff every other right-winger does with very little emphasis on what is or isn't Christian.
So no no argument.
So how
but
about
back to what I'm asking?
So
Hang
how
on.
about
No.
we
How about you
away
answer now
from
for
the
your
meta-ethical,
accusation?
And
you need to answer for your accusation now that I'm a fascist.
What if we just
Can you tell me
about,
what fascist policy I
what if
endorse?
we just talked about the policies?
Real quick, Andrew,
no, he needs to answer, Alex.
Hang on. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do what you want.
Alex,
do you want to move off the previous point? And
well, first I want all I'm asking Vosh to do. He made the qualifier. He claimed I was a fascist. I would like you to give me the list of fascism that you go by. And then what we'll do is we'll go one by one and see which one of us is more fascist.
Notice how he wants to. Whoa, hold on. Notice how like he gets triggered by one
Notice
word.
how
should I
he
say.
made an accusation and can't back it up.
He can't do it. He like in a broader point that I'm
was
making
my turn to talk,
about
Vosh.
the political position and
remember
what
how
motivates him.
To be fair, I did let you talk for a while.
Sure, well, I'm trying to move the argument forward.
Yeah,
It's
so
all I
that's my
want to
turn.
do, and he's
Now it's
trying
my
to
turn.
dredge it in
I know,
indefinitely.
and I'm gonna move it right after we get through this. But to be fair, he did make that claim. I think
he did make the claim. So Vosh, you make the claim.
Sure.
And what you
Okay.
you
Yeah.
do
Really
this-
quick. Yeah. Sure.
It's my turn,
Hey,
Vosh.
Andrew.
Vosh.
Andrew. Yes,
It's my
I'll
turn,
answer.
Vosh.
I'm answering. Yeah.
Let me finish my question.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Let me finish it, and then you can answer it.
This is so stupid.
So one more time, Vosh, hang on, Vosh, you often do this during debates where you make these.
I'm muting both of you. Okay. I'm sorry, I hate doing this, but okay. So, Bosch, you did make that claim. It's a pretty strong statement. So I think Andrew is within his rights to ask for clarification of why you want that. And after that, I promise you we can move the conversation forward. Okay, I'm muting both of you. Go ahead, Vosh.
Am I back?
Yeah.
It's good to be back. What was the
So
wait?
why-
What was the question? Whether or not he's a fascist?
Andrew's asking, why do you think I'm a fascist? What are the things that make me a fascist?
Oh well, literally, he called himself Big Papa Fascist. But if you want like an actual, like I don't know, reasoning beliefs,
You gotta
I would
have a
say
better argument than that, right? To be fair, right? You gotta have a better argument than that.
that being like a political advocate for Donald Trump or the Republican Party would count towards one. I think
Okay,
also
fair.
I'm pretty sure like I didn't expect he would like pretend to be offended over this because we both know perfectly well he fits my definition. But I'm pretty sure that literally every time I've seen him make any prescriptive statement about politics, it perfectly lines up with what a fascist would believe in. So he's like anti-immigration. He makes statements about like the Western nationalism and like the white birth rates declining. He talks about like a need to get rid of degeneracy and imposition of like far right conservative politics as a way of getting. So he's like nodding along with all this. This was just a waste of time. He just wants to like filibuster before we get
No.
to the actual.
Why are those fascist?
Oh my god,
policies?
dude! Do you want to like
You
get all
don't
the
get
way
to
back to the
pivot.
definition
What
of fascism?
I want you to do, because you've done this, I've seen you do this several
How is
times.
this
in
a
debate.
policy?
Well, it's my
how
turn,
is this-
Vosh.
what does
Vosh,
why
I just
mean?
let you talk, Vosh. My turn.
Really quick, Alex.
It's
was
my
it not
turn,
True
not
that
really
after
quick, it's my
Alex,
turn.
After I answered his question, didn't we move on? Did I not just
No,
answer
it's
his
my
question?
turn. Vosh.
You got you let him ask one or two follow-up questions. It is a fair question because you did make a
I
pretty
answered
strong
it. So those all meet my standards for when I
He
would call
doesn't
someone a
want to
fascist.
allow me to. He doesn't want me to speak.
Let's
at
let
all.
Andrew ask one or two qualifying questions, and then we can move on. I think it's only
Vosh,
fair because
you go by a
Vouch.
list for what you consider to be fascist. Would you be willing to pull up that list and compare them with me 1v1 so that we can determine which of us actually follows more fascist policies than the other?
Dude, I
Or
thought the
advocates
whole
for them.
point was moving.
Dead.
This is like the hardest
Dead.
anyone has ever filibustered while talking to me. I'm sorry. In that broader point you made, you call me a fascist. Here are 17 examples of you being fascist. Can you explain to me how every single one of those is fascist? If you want to like indefinitely henpeck back and forth, I guess we can. But I consider this a concession on everything regarding Christianity.
I don't give a shit what
because
you consider a concession. Are
well,
you willing
I
to do that or
certainly-
not? Just say,
certainly
no, I'm
It's
not
just-
willing to do
I just
it.
think it's funny that you get very. I just said I'm
I
willing
think it's
to do
funny
it.
that you can make accusations and then you won't back them up because you're a coward.
You get really angry whenever
Yeah,
I
you're
like
a coward, bro.
whenever I
Make-
poke you. I've already
actually
Andrew, I've already
make
said I'll
the
do
argument.
it. I've already
Then do it. Then do it.
Dead.
Okay, so let me
Stop
finish
fucking
what I was
around
saying.
and do it.
Come on,
Stop
Dad.
being a wuss and do it.
He's like trying to alpha mail me. He's like, after an hour and a half of being talked over, time for me to bring out my big Tate pants.
Are you gonna do it?
You want to not be a coward?
You're
Do
still
it.
not doing
Rug.
it.
For can you
You're
can
still
you, like,
evading.
project your
Gosh,
brow forward?
It is a fair qualifying question.
Well, so Alex, the problem is
Sometime today, Vosh.
so Alex, just to be
Hang on.
clear, what he's suggesting is that for every in a broader point that I was making about him not believing in Christianity, which he doesn't, he gets upset that I call him a fascist when he literally self-labels a fascist.
Literally.
Where's that
He
list?
said, hold on. He asks, "Hey, can you qualify that?" I then list like 12 things that I say are
Wait, how do I
fascist,
dock?
which he
Hello?
nods along to all
No,
of
you
them.
didn't.
And now what he's saying is, let's go over an exact 14-point definition of fascism so that on every single one we can check off every point on every claim made. Now, Alex,
and see if they apply to you.
Now, Alex, we can do this, but I did want to debate Christian nationalism, and I will admit this does just seem like a pivot away from the subject because he knows
you called me the fascist. I didn't call you anything.
You called yourself the fascist, actually, Andrew.
Okay.
No, you called me the fascist.
Hang on. Stop. I'm going to make a reasonable compromise.
Jesus.
We'll spend 2 to 3 minutes. Andrew can ask us qualifying questions. After that, we will move on to the conversation.
Cool. Looking to be more involved in the community. Smiley face.
I do want you to answer the questions that he asked, and then we're going to move on to
ask me direct questions, Andrew. Not like cross-checking to a list.
Where do you get your definition of fascism from?
Do the one guy.
I think that like most broader socio-political
Don't say that
definitions, you kind of
Alberto.
pull from a wide variety
Oh,
of texts.
okay,
But for the most part, I refer to.
Who's that guy? Umberto's list of 14 points of fascism. I feel like I see that shit pop on every fucking subreddit. I don't know what the guy's name is.
Umberto echoes 14 points.
Yes, I agree that you do, and I've seen you do it. Can you
watch my
pull up
content?
those 14 points, and we'll go through them point by point, and I will see if they apply more to you or more to me.
Do you think we can do that in the remaining 1 to 2 minutes that was allotted
Let's
to
just
this
pick.
topic?
You know what? Just pick your favorite two.
My favorite two.
Testing your pre-watch. What did I pre-watch?
Two, yeah.
Sure.
Oh wait, did he just
point-
say it? I'm sorry. Fuck, I was trying to read chat.
Text, but for the most part, I refer to Umberto echoes 14.
Oh. I do pre-watch. I'm sorry. I was so busy pre-watching that I forgot that I pre-watched. My bad. I was reading chat instead of remembering my pre-watch.
Yes, I agree that you do, and I've seen you do it. Can you
watch my
pull up
content?
those 14 points, and we'll go through them point by point, and I will see if they apply more to you or more to me.
Do you think we can do that in the remaining 1 to 2 minutes that was allotted
Let's
to
just
this
pick.
topic?
You know what? Just pick your favorite two.
My favorite two.
Let's just do 2, yeah.
Why can't I
Sure.
dock? Hello?
Practical list for the fascists. Hold on, let me find the one that
I have to
actually, there we
configure a
go.
timetable?
Not the one that
Really?
just lists like the simplified version. Okay, so let me read these all out loud in the spirit
Just
of this
pick your
debate.
two.
And I need
Just
to
pick your two.
Well, I don't remember everything from that. I've only read this a couple
So you
hundred
can't
times.
pick. You can't pick two, even though you just agreed to do
Hey,
that. Bob.
Andrew, let's let them go through the list.
Yeah.
This is exactly what you want, so let's go in there for that.
Okay, so number 1 is the cult of tradition. One has only to look at the syllabus of every fascist movement in order to find the major traditionalist thinkers. The Nazi gnosis was nourished by traditionalists, syncreticists, and occult elements. Number 2, the rejection of modernism. Quote, the Enlightenment, the age of reason, is seen as the beginning of modern depravity. In this sense, Urafascism can be defined as irrationalism. Number 3, the cult of action for action's sake. Action being beautiful in itself, it must be taken before or without any previous reflection. Thinking is a form of emasculation. Number 4, disagreement is treason. The critical spirit makes distinctions, and to distinguish is a sign of modernism.
Just give me two,
In modern
Vosh.
culture-
We don't need the whole list.
Whoa!
Why are you letting him go through the whole list, Alex? He agreed to 2.
Hang on,
He's
hang on.
filibustering the entire debate.
Stop. Okay, listen. Vosh gave like 4 or 5. Let's just work with what he gave you.
Yeah, which of those two?
No.
Which two do you want to pick, Vosh? And see, let's see how they apply only to me and not to you.
Sure, okay. How about number 2, the rejection of modernism? Do you want me to reread the quote associated with it?
The quote associated with it from whom?
I believe it's a quote from Umberto Eco when he wrote
Make
on
sure
the
that
top-
it is, and not from a third-party source.
Okay. Pretty sure I've seen this one before, but sure, let me see. Well, Echo is firm claiming there's one. Yeah, I've seen this before in other websites as well, so it's definitely not just openculture.com that's referring to it. But if you want, sure. Let me Google search the quote. Yes, a practical list for identifying fascists from Umberto Eco. It is directly quoted from him. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Andrew, let's let Andrew address that.
So first, let's go with the rejection of modernism. Does this, in your worldview, mean a rejection of ethics which built the society, or a rejection of modernity when it comes to how society is acting?
The Enlightenment. When he talks about modernism, he's talking about modernity in the geopolitical sense. The Enlightenment.
So just Enlightenment principles are anti-communist, Bosch.
In his words, the
Oh no.
Enlightenment, the age of reason, is seen as the beginning of modern depravity.
Yes, but in communism is anti-enlightenment.
No, not at all.
Yes, absolutely.
So Karl Marx is literally described as a modernist philosopher and economist.
No, by who?
Literally everyone who described it.
It's like this fucking. They're like two apes trying to see who can throw the bigger banana or something like.
So he objectively fits. He is
Literally
a
not.
post-enlightenment.
No. Listen.
Sure.
When you're talking about modernity, specifically modernity, when you're talking about modernity, I need you to explain how it is that I reject modernity. I don't reject modernity. I reject an ethical system which I'm contrary to.
So just a moment. Okay, so I Googled, is Karl Marx a modernist? I hadn't seen this brought up before in my many classes on the subject. Marx and Engels offered a profoundly modernistic critique of capitalism. And then it's from a University of Warwick page called Modernism and Marxism.
You said postmodernist.
No, I said modernist. He's not postmodernist.
Okay, but that's what you said, just so you know.
Okay, let's let Vosh finish. Go ahead.
It says, is Marxism a part of modernism? This is from Marx and Philosophy Society, .org.uk. Part 1 in sum situates Marx as a leading figure of modernism. So the thing is, Marx and communist thinkers in general, or at the very least Marx, because some communists, you can't deal with these guys. Certainly with me, are very much post-Enlightenment thinkers, born of the age of reason, and believers in liberal social values. I mean, Karl Marx was a progressive of his day, wrote to Abraham Lincoln to convince him to help to free the slaves. His writings were an attempt to hold capitalism to account for not fulfilling the promises of modernism, of liberalism.
And what about his critique that he wrote about Enlightenment humanism? And from a revolutionary ecological perspective, where he seemed to argue against these post-Enlightenment principles, which you are so adamant that only fascists hold?
No. Anyone can criticize things.
And what about the fact that Marx himself was very anti-Jewish? There's no doubt that that's true either. So all of these things, these
unfortunately,
push against...
that's been popular in both pre- and post-Enlightenment Europe.
Yeah, but the thing is, Vosh, is that no, I don't think that number 2 does not apply to you. You seem to reject the modernist principles as well, at least postmodernist, and you seem to want to move towards your communist worldview. I don't see how this doesn't apply to you. Pick another one.
Do you agree that Karl Marx, by basically every definition you can find online, is a modernist?
No, I don't think that. I don't think when we say modernist, we're talking about postmodernist, which is what you referenced and I responded to.
No, modernist. He's a modernist.
Okay, well, Christians are modernists too. I don't know what your point is.
No, Christianity is a pre-modernist system.
But by what metric? The ethics?
What is I don't actually know. What is modernism? Is modernism just the idea that, like, basically, like, post-Enlightenment thoughts that came after, like, Enlightenment and industrialization? Is that essentially modernism? That would be my guess. Modernism refers to a global movement in society and culture that, from the early decades of the 20th century, sought a new alignment with the experience values of modern industrial life. Oh, this is just in the art sense. I don't know if modernism in the art sense aligns with the overall modernist period. I have no idea. Oh, it looks like it. Booba. Modernism is a philosophical, religious, and arts movement that arose from broad transformations in Western society during the... Okay. Gotcha.
No, the Enlightenment, a post or pre-Enlightenment era. Is
the
it
Enlightenment
ethics?
Which emerged... Enlightenment ethics?
Well,
wait, guys, I did say 2 minutes for this. We've been going on 5 minutes. I do want to redirect.
Of course. Yeah, I don't want to linger on this too long. It's about ethics and it's about political economy for Marx.
Yeah, so would you say it's the ethical distinction that makes you a modernist, or is it a rejection of the material that makes you a modernist?
Well, that really depends on why you're rejecting it. For example, like Marx rejected Hegelian thought on the ideological dialectic, but Marx is still arguably a kind of Hegelian. His rejection is an iteration upon a pre-existing trend. Like, for example, you know, if you're Adam Smith and you're writing like, you know, a systemic economic critique of previous like economic forms which are themselves post-Enlightenment, you're not rejecting modernity. What you're doing is trying to improve upon it.
Okay.
But, you know,
so is there
Marx,
any problem with holding Christian ethics in modernity?
No, you are literally that is literally a pre-Enlightenment belief.
Okay.
Why would that be a pre-Enlightenment belief? There are Christians who exist post-Enlightenment, and by the way, just so you understand, that actually doesn't make any sense on its face. Why? What Enlightenment principle do you
literally
think,
defending divine command theory and arguing that he's a post-Enlightenment? Like, yeah,
are you going to tell me
modernist
which Christian,
divine command theory? Yeah.
Why won't you tell?
Sorry.
Why won't you answer the question,
Alex? This is an infinite wormhole.
Andrew. To be fair, I did say we were only going to talk about this for 2 minutes, but what I will do is I will let you on this topic.
Most Enlightenment thinkers were Christians. So that's why I'm making the distinction between ethics and what he considers materialism. Pick your second one, Vosh. This one definitely applies to you.
Wait, hang on. Stop. Andrew, I did say it was going to be 2 minutes. Went on for 5 minutes. What I will do is give you about 45 seconds.
Can I not add, like, wait for the train to, like, be full, or is that not possible? Or?
Assessment that you're fascist, and then let's move back to the original conversation at hand, because it's gotten really, really off track. So go ahead,
what matters is that we're having fun and having a good time. It's like,
I am.
Andrew's part.
Yeah. So when we're talking about kind of these distinctions, first of all, Vosh said postmodernist, but fine, I'll just give it into modernity itself. When I'm asking about the ethical distinction, I'm asking him which of these kind of modern practices he thinks are opposed to Christian ethics, or why Christian ethics itself is opposed to what he considers modernity. And I don't think he can actually do that, which is very problematic from his worldview. That's why you make the ethical distinction, then you make the material distinction when these things are talked about. So I would actually like to know the answer to this. Do you think that Christian ethics themselves are non-compatible with whatever you consider modernity to be? And by the way, just having Christian ethics, does that make you a fascist by that metric?
So I'll answer both of those, and then we'll be done with it.
Okay, let's let Vosh answer, then we'll redirect. Okay.
First of all, this is very funny because you are literally an advocate for divine command theory, arguing that we need to challenge and reject liberalism. You could not be more perfect a stereotype of an anti-modernist figure today or 250 years ago possible. You are literally repping the same question. No, that is a direct answer. You are not only anti-modernist. This entire argument has been you proudly touting your anti-modernist beliefs. You are literally arguing for divine command theory.
That's not my question. My question is about ethics.
So, well, so the second question that you asked is, being a Christian ethicist automatically make you a fascist? The answer is, for one, you're not a Christian ethicist. But for two, a lot of people who claim to be are fascists. But if
you don't even know what Christian ethics are. You just said so.
And I never will. If the question is, however, if by a Christian ethics a person just means like, oh well, the Bible says you should wash the feet of prostitutes or whatever, then no, of course that wouldn't make you a fascist. However, when people have very poor justifications for their empirical arguments, they usually defer back to something they know they won't be able to metaphysically justify, and then they can do the like, well, maybe I can't prove any of my ethics are real, but like you can't either, and then it's like, well, you know, why even talk about anything, right?
Well, I never made the statement that I couldn't prove my ethics were real. I just made the statement that the criticism applied moves back to you just as much as it does me.
You've been able to prove God is real, and you've been holding out
that none of the things you say are true, and they're arbitrary, and your systems make no sense.
Yo, Vosh, Andrew, I'll let you guys choose. You guys have the option. Do you guys want to stay on this longer, or do you want to move back to the original?
Yeah, we can move back to.
I just want to talk about policy.
We can move back to
about
policy.
reality.
That's fine. Whatever he wants to move back to.
I'm also going to say, you know, we're going an hour and a half. We'll probably go for another half an hour, unless, of course, there's something that's left unfinished. So just so you guys have a mental idea. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I guess I'd like to know how to prove God exists, but like leaving that aside, because I know what rabbit hole that goes down.
If you want to have a debate over that, then I would suggest that you debate with Jay Dyer, and we'll see if your logic for utilitarianism can hold up. That would be my suggestion.
Let's go back to policy.
Yeah. Also, you don't have to prove utilitarianism to disprove a person's assertions that they've proven God. But, yeah.
Yeah, but the criticism refines back the other way. You realize that, right? Which is that even if I was unable to substantiate my worldview as being true,
it's
you
the
also
lightning
can't.
thing again.
You
Okay.
also can't.
Policy.
Okay, back to policy.
Okay, so my argument is that I think...
Why? Okay, listen, now... Vosh is mainly right on this debate, by the way. But, like, how can this be the guy? How can Vosh be the guy that tells his audience that, like, Destiny is, like, the internet debate, bro? Like, what is this? What are we even fucking listening to? Holy Christ.
I think it's good when things are good. That's my sort of opening line. I'm putting all my chips down on the table for this one. No argument.
Wait, what did you... I'm sorry, I must have missed what you said. What did you say?
Typical Weasley debate tactics with nothing to say.
No, repeat what you just said.
I said, I think it's good when things are good. I think that's what I said. I wasn't actually paying
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. What does good mean?
That's an excellent question. I think that we face a lot of problems today in our country and in our world broadly, and I think that it can seem very scary and very overwhelming. And there's not really a simple way to fix any of it. Obviously, if things could be fixed simply.
Vosh thinks he's a linguist, but he's a sophist. Andrew thinks he's in Mad Men, but he's really on Mean Girls.
They would have been. Like, it's not... It's never that easy. I do think that the declining birth rate is a meaningful issue. One day, God willing, every country will be up to economic par. And if they are, logically then, it follows that they would have below replacement birth rates. And that's not good. I think that we can see what we need to do by looking at the country that did it worst, Japan. Japan has a ridiculously low birth rate, in large part, I think, because of its tyrannical work culture. It's made it virtually impossible to start a family or to have children or anything like that, because it's like you lose so much in your career. I think that if we look at that and we think, okay, that's how to do it wrong, so how can we make it right? And I think we should harken back to the last time we had a real population boom in this country. I'm talking unions. The 1950s, the generation that produced the baby boomers, didn't just come back home to freshly built suburbs. They came back to better jobs than most Americans can get today. I think we need to reinvest in our society to make people happy to live and be alive, give people hope in the future. People are less likely to have kids if they don't hope for the future, you know? We got to address climate change, not only for the million other reasons, but also because it'll make people more willing to bring more life into this world, which honestly at the moment is a pretty scary proposition.
Are you ever going to tell me what good means?
Man, you're really going to run right past all that, aren't you? You're really going to go right back to the ethics
I asked you a specific question, and I let you ramble for, however long you rambled for.
Rambling? I thought that was like the most
I want you to
sincerity.
tell me what good. You said, I want things to be good, man. I want things to be awesome and good, and we're all, I don't know, dope smoking hippie, whatever the fuck it is. Are you going to tell me what you mean by good?
I mean, I just laid out a bunch of things that I think are good.
Yeah, you laid up a bunch of things that you think are good, but you haven't told me what the good is. What is good?
Do you think that people being
Don't ask me a question, answer my question. What is good? Don't ask me a question, answer my question. What is good?
Maybe you can really quickly just explain what you mean by good.
Sure. Though this seems like a willful disengagement from any of the material substance I just
It was
laid
your
out.
argument.
But,
your argument was the good is the good.
No, me just do the question afterwards. But let's just.
Yeah, so going back to the topic we just painfully wrested ourselves away from over the past hour, when I say good, I mean in line with my utilitarian ethics, and when I say that, what I mean is that it maximizes, or at least improves, a number of conditions that I think are associated with positive utility. So in this case, I'm arguing in favor of something we should both agree is morally good, people being happy, and people being fruitful, literally, people producing more children. So I would think
So what
that
do you
we
do? So what do you do with all these vast population centers which don't follow utilitarianism and have a different version of what is good?
So do you, the things that I just talked about looking at Japan and learning what not to do, do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, no, answer my question.
Oh my God, Alex, he doesn't have anything, so he'll do anything to keep the
I
argument
just
away.
asked you a very specific question.
So it's like, it's not even related to what we're talking about.
Your statement was, this is all good. All these things are good. I ask you for the definition of good. You say it's a utilitarian ethic. It's a utilitarian ethic. So what do you want to do with all these massive, vast populations that don't follow your utilitarian ethic?
Wait, hang on. Let him finish his point. What was the end of that? I missed it.
He claims, Vosh's claim was
in the wrong here. I mean, Andrew is impossible to argue with because he's just unbearable, and Vosh is impossible to listen to because he's also unbearable. So, who's correct here? I mean, pick your poison.
Do what's good, man. And then I said, what's good? And after his rambling diatribe, he finally said what.
Oh, man. I'm not even sure what we're doing today. Hold on. I'll be back 1 second. I'm going to make a call. You listen to these guys.
Whatever gives positive utility. Is it okay? So, well, as a policy prescription, which is what we're talking about, what do you want to do with all of these nations which are vast and don't follow utilitarian ethics? They follow religious ethics. What are you going to do with those,
So, Alex,
it is a fair question.
Well,
It
Alex,
is related
do you
to
remember
both.
how we said policy a bunch a while ago, and then I
That
laid
would be
out
policy.
and then I laid out like a bunch of specific policies that I think would make people happier and produce more children, and then he ignored all of it. And because I said at the beginning of
No,
that,
the
like
opposite
2 minutes
happened, but
ago, I
okay.
said I think good things are good. He's disingenuously latching onto that so he can avoid acknowledging the fact that he has no real
I
world
think
prescriptions
bad
at all.
things are bad.
Stop.
Bad things are bad.
Listen, listen, he's literally, it's like a fucking ape in the corner, man. People is like throwing feces, but he doesn't know I'm behind glass.
Stop. Okay, let's do this. So, Vosh, if you can answer his question, and after that, I will make sure that we go back to your initial question. He answers that in detail. And you will
Let's see. Let's see.
This would be policy. What do you do with the vast populations that don't follow your stupid ass utilitarian ethic, which almost no broad nation who has religious undertones, which are most of them, follow? They don't follow your utilitarian ethics. So what's your policy in dealing with them?
So there's a couple of presuppositions here that below a low IQ, and I'm hoping that the audience doesn't have to fall into the same pit Andrew has. For one, countries don't follow quote-unquote utilitarian ethics. That's nonsensical. The fact that he would say that is a reminder.
You just said
of the
that
fact
that was the good.
Hang on, Andrew. Let him finish. You asked a question. Let him finish.
He doesn't understand how ethics works. Countries are ruled by, and decisions within them are made by, literally millions of people. Sometimes in autocracies, it seems like it's one, but it's usually the influence of a huge number of people. And most people don't have cohesive ethical systems. For the idea that the House of Saud, the Saudi Arabian, the bloodthirsty, vicious Saudi Arabian royal family, is making their decisions based on religious ethics. Like when they decide to build a giant clock tower over Mecca, they're like, well, what does the Quran say? Notice how he muted himself. He's talking to his own chat. He literally, he has no intention of engaging with anything.
I can repeat back everything you just said. Would you like me to?
We're going to go on another tangent.
Would you like me to repeat back what you just said if you think I'm not listening?
Keep holding it.
Would you like me to repeat back what I just said, what you just said?
Keep holding it to your memory for like...
Vosh, I want to give you a chance to finish that.
Yeah, I want to finish.
You will redirect your initial question to Andrew.
In a couple minutes, he can repeat everything I've said back word for word as a test of his memory. It's like a fun game. The idea that the House of Saud is making religiously oriented decisions, like they're looking in the Quran to decide what decision to make, is ridiculous. In reality, the decisions that countries make are almost always guided by self-interest, either for the nation or for the class of people in power or for the individual in power. For the House of Saud, the decisions made are almost entirely to the benefit of the royal family. For example, in the United States of America, the decisions made are ostensibly to the benefit of the majority of people because we live in a democracy, but are really heavily slanted towards the ruling class, the elites, the bourgeoisie. So the idea that this all falls on well, how are you going to convince their ethical systems? Well, I'd do it the same way all countries have always managed to engage in diplomacy with each other. I would try to find a way to make it in their best interest to adopt these systems. So I actually think it's in everyone's best interest to adopt systems that prioritize the well-being of the average person, because I think it leads to stable countries. I guess I could make the argument hey, I think that it's best when people are healthy, happy, and able to raise families. I think those are good arguments. People make those pretty often. So following from that, what arguments could I make to France or to Germany or to Norway or hell, to Russia, to Saudi Arabia, to China to do this? And, I don't think it'd be easy, but I don't think there's any easy way to get all 8 billion people on Earth to get along, because that has literally never happened. It's always going to be an uphill battle.
So,
the question has been answered. Now, let's redirect to Vosh's initial question that he was trying to ask you. Then if you want to touch on this a little bit later, we can do that. But I promised Vosh we're going to go back to his initial question.
None of those are policies, by the way. Just so you know, he never named a single policy at all. And by the way, he also wants to outsource his ethical system to other people, is what he just said. But okay.
Vosh, can you please repeat your initial question?
Sure. So I listed a bunch of policies. I guess his memory's not as good as he remembers, but I guess a specific one would be, given that Japan has a uniquely low birth rate and a very bad work culture, wouldn't it be sensible to look at Japan for examples on what not to do? Like maybe if we see what they're doing has led to really bad outcomes when it comes to birth rates, we could then try to prevent those things from happening in our place. So, for example, there are, because he doesn't seem to think it's policy, there are lots of Japanese policies, laws, and cultural norms that
Most of your
dictate
time
their
is spent being
extremely
dead or not
bad
yet born. Not while alive.
work culture.
You wait in vain,
So
wasting
maybe
years
we
for a
could look at
phone
that,
call
see the
or a letter
outcomes,
or a look
and
from
go,
someone or something
hey,
to make it all
let's
right.
not
And it
do
never
that.
comes
Like,
where it
would
seems
that
to, but
be
it doesn't.
What's the policy then?
Vosh, I mean, sorry, Andrew, it is a fair question. You can follow up and ask him, hey, I don't see, what the policy is. It is a fair question. It is related to the discussion. So you got to answer that.
What would the policy be?
Andrew, this just answer.
He doesn't know. He wasn't listening. He doesn't know.
You didn't give a policy, bro. You just said we shouldn't do X.
Yes.
What's So what's the actual policy prescription here?
So okay, fine, Vosh. What is the
I'll
actual?
repeat. No, don't worry. I'll repeat it. Okay.
So repeat it.
I didn't make a policy prescription there. He wasn't listening.
Right.
What I
That's
said.
why I asked you for the third time. What's the policy?
I didn't give one. Your goal was to answer the
right.
question.
I know.
Yeah, that it wasn't about the policy. You weren't listening.
Yeah, but I asked you what policy. You were supposed to answer, then ask me a question, but you didn't answer.
Yeah, because you didn't listen. There was no policy. You're asking the wrong question. So
how can I ask the wrong question? Just answer my question.
The fact that you don't know the answer to that is astonishing.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm just trying to repeat it, man. I'm just trying to help him understand.
I'm gonna have to start muting you guys. Okay, so listen.
Gonna repeat the question. Can I repeat the question?
Vosh asked the question. Sorry, what?
May I repeat the question without any flourish?
Yeah, but I think we got the question. Andrew,
did we?
I personally got the question.
I know you did, sir. I think you're doing great.
Well, if Andrew needs it, you can repeat.
Yeah.
But I think so. Vosh made a question that's not directly policy prescription. However, it is very much related to the topic.
Yeah, I know. Hang on, Alex. I understand, but just so that you understand, I asked him for a policy.
I have to mute you. I'm sorry. So just please answer his question, and then afterwards, I will force Vosh to answer. Give you a policy. Okay, that's the only fair way I think of doing this. I'm trying to be as fair as possible. Hopefully I'm doing a good job, but yeah, so let's just do that.
What's the question?
It's a rough debate. Yeah, no, happily. So, Japan has a uniquely low birth rate, and that low birth rate is almost certainly caused by a set of laws and cultural norms, mostly oriented around the work culture there, but there's a lot of stuff, Do you think that it would be sensible for us to look at all of the things that are lowering Japan's birth rate and use those as teaching tools for what not to do over here? Like if we see over there that there is a...
Sure, absolutely. Every day on earth you can do that with. Now, back to my question.
Okay.
What would be your policy to correct that?
Sure. So, considering the fact that very bad work culture in Japan correlates to and seems to be causative of, I mean, based on what I've seen, I mean, there's a lot of research on it, lower birth rates. So we're setting up like a mathematical proof. If really bad work culture causes lower birth rates, it follows logically that good work culture should make for better birth rates. Now, it doesn't fix everything, of course, but it's one step in a larger set, right? So what makes Japanese work culture bad? Well, obviously the long hours are one, but another big one is that workers are often expected to willfully work long hours after their shift is technically ended. How are you supposed to go out and pick people up?
So what would be your policy prescription?
We have laws, strong overtime laws, that make it illegal for people to continue work like that after the official hours have been counted.
So your policy prescription in order to incentivize birth rates is to outlaw overtime.
So I think that is the fact that we had. Wait. I didn't say outlaw overtime. I said that they would be paid for it. It'd be illegal to hold them without pay after the work. You can still do overtime.
So then what? I don't understand. So if Japan has a law where you're paid for overtime, right? You just want the law in the U.S., which it already is, to be that you're paid for overtime?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why the American
This
birth
is your
rate,
big brain policy prescription?
You ask him a question, let him answer.
Yeah, you have to build a castle one brick at a time. So the United States has a higher birth rate than Japan by a pretty significant margin. Japan's pretty. So maybe one of the reasons why is because they do things worse than us in some specific ways. This would be an example of something that I think works to their detriment. They do not have the same kind of worker protections, and it is complicated in like the specifics. Obviously, we have to simplify this because I'm not like an expert on the Japanese economy, but I've read some articles where the expectation towards unpaid overtime and constant socializing with your boss, like drinking after work and stuff like that. I think things like this make it worse over there. And I think that there is causative evidence that it makes it worse over there. And we have it better over here, and we don't have those same issues. So maybe we can follow through with that. And
but
sort of
we
draw
still
it out
do.
broadly.
We have a 1.64 birth rate. They have a 1.34 birth rate.
That is significantly lower. So maybe the difference
well, wait a second.
Okay.
When you say significant, when you say it's significantly lower, they're really low in both areas. If all your policy prescription is to Japan is, hey, pay people for overtime, and that's already the policy prescription inside of the United States, how do you plan on outsourcing this policy? That's the whole question. You want other country to do Vosh ethics. How does Vosh want to make Japan start paying for overtime?
I'm just talking about learning what policies would be most effective to increasing the birth rate. I think that the fact that we have that policy in the United States helps. So that was one example. There are like 1,000 more that we could go over, because obviously something as nebulous and complicated as improving the birth rate is going to involve, I mean, we could talk about criminology, we could talk about economics, we could talk about, there are so many fields where you could influence the outcomes here. I mean, no single human could know even a quarter of it. Like, we're talking about a insane set of shifts. But hey, big paradigm shifts are what socialists are supposed to be all about, so I'm fine with it. Yeah.
So how would you move that big paradigm shift?
Well, we already have paid overtime in the United States. So
No, externally, Vosh.
You mean like to make Japan better about this?
Yeah, so you want to export your ethical system, right?
No, Japanese workers also want to be paid for overtime. There are labor rights organizations that have been really active there for decades. They have a lot of trouble because Japan is not that democratic. We don't talk about it that much because we mostly think of Japan as like anime and Pocky sticks, but Japan is not great politically in a lot of ways. And
yeah, great, but you still want to export your brand of ethics to Japan, right?
I think that the labor workers over there have been fighting for overtime pay for a long time. I mean, would supporting them be exporting my ethical?
You can just say yes. You know, I don't even know why that's a problem to say. You say
bring
yes.
the answer down to your IQ level.
You ask him a question, let him answer.
Yeah. So I guess right now the current like setup, like the current disingenuous setup for a gotcha is that I believe.
Have we gotten any closer to resolving anything on anything?
That it's good for good things to happen to people in other countries.
This whole debate is 4 hours long. Jesus.
No, you think it's good to export your moral system, so I don't understand what your criticism is of other people doing it.
Hang on. Children. Let's let Vosh answer the original question that Andy asked him.
Why do you always kill gods in JRPGs?
Persona 5, Final Fantasy 7, Chrono Trigger, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and Elden Ring.
Wait. Why Sneeko, Andrew Tate... Oh, what Sneeko, Andrew Tate have done to kids? Abba and Preach.
Understand that you might know the truth. Rumble people, you might know the truth about the world, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean you're better than other people. Because you believe in God and you think that OnlyFans girls are demons, right? That doesn't make
This is the most brain-dead debate I've ever watched. Can we watch something else?
Yeah.
Frowny face.
We got Abba and Preach now, baby.
Yes, dog. Hearing Sneeko complain about his audience almost feels like I'm hearing Sneeko complain about how Sneeko's always behaved.
And let's be honest, the red pill is dying. It's over.
Speaking of things that are stupid, what? Sneeko.
Andrew Tate. Fuck the woman. Fuck the woman.
What? No, wait. We love women. We love women. We love women.
But not like transgenders.
Yes, sir. We love everybody.
Max Taléloin. Très rapidement, mon ami. Yo, j'étais pas prêt. I was not ready for that shit.
In case you're wondering what the average Sneeko fan looks like.
That shit went that way. It went left, right. Oh, wow. Hey, yo, so young with, whoa.
At that age, this guy's like 11 or 12 yelling, fuck the women, Andrew Tate.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir. We love everybody. No.
All gays should die.
Whoa, kid.
Oh, merch, preach.
What have I done?
Can I get in the video? Fucking talk. Can I get in the video?
Yeah. Talk to him.
Yo, what's up?
It's just funny. I encounter fans all the time. I don't think I've ever encountered anyone below the age of 14.
Or screaming stuff like that.
No. Anytime anyone's ever approached us, it's always been very calm and cordial. Very, very calm and cordial. But just imagining seeing my fans and that's what they yelling.
Damn.
You want to see what his response was to like?
Sure.
They are children and obviously joking. This is how I was at 12. But if it sounds egregious to you, blame the rainbow flags in their classroom.
Okay.
Blame the media for emasculating men.
Okay.
No, my guy. No, my guy.
It's your fault for forcing an obvious agenda, not these kids.
Damn.
Boys will be boys.
Damn.
You know, what a lot of the audiences these people foster in regards to people is like a lot of this stuff. Were you ever yelling shit like that when you was a kid? Let's be fair.
No.
I think the biggest thing I might remember is watching rappers and yell to get money. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is we also grew up with media influences that weren't exactly. It's just he's a negative influence of today.
Yeah.
But even when we were growing up, there's a lot of hip hop artists or whatever you was watching that were sending some wrong messages, and kids was listening and assimilate that stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like rap music made a bunch of my homies gentlemen when I was a kid.
No, but I was not necessarily repeating those stuff.
Maybe not you individually, but the people around you.
Well, you asked me.
I mean, it doesn't make what he's doing fine or good now. It's just recognizing that the same way we had bad influences today, a lot of these red pill losers are a lot of the bad influences for young men today. It's funny because I remember when they were trying to ban Andrew Tate everywhere, a lot of school teachers were saying, oh, this is a negative influence on my students. The students are coming in and saying all this stuff. And I'm like, you gotta be exaggerating. And then you hear these kids going, kill the gays, Andrew Tate. And I'm like, oh, maybe those teachers weren't lying. There's a little bit of that whole him complaining like, oh my God, look at the rainbow flag in the classrooms and all the programming. It's like, bro, you're also programming the kids too.
Definitely. 100%.
If your flag is just a woman being beaten up or being hated on or being called stupid or whore, but you got your own flags. And these kids, they fly it proudly. They sing the anthem without even you asking. It's interesting because they keep complaining about the indoctrination of children. But you got a bunch of kids just yelling your name randomly and repeating a bunch of foul shit that you've been saying.
If that's not indoctrination.
You look at these kids, oh my God, look at them yelling pronouns. Look at the kids that you're fostering yelling how much they hate the opposite gender and that they think that gays should be murked.
Yikes, fam.
Wow. Programming.
Pretty yikes.
And if you ask these kids, they wouldn't even be able to tell you why. So that's where you see the programming. When you're just repeating some stuff, you don't know why, you don't know where that's from, you don't know why you're saying, but you're saying it.
Yep.
That's programming right there.
Yeah. And let me ask you, when's the last time you seen one of these like purple-head 12-year-olds talk about murking the straight people? But if you keep it in that stack, let me know when y'all heard that. Not from adults, I'm actually talking about kids, because that's what we saw on screen. We saw kids yelling that shit. I'm all fine with people saying, hey, I don't want this stuff in the classroom. I don't want all the LGBTQ stuff in the classroom. Okay, that's fine. But think about where these kids are getting their messaging.
IRL streaming is what I want to do now. There's only so long, you can only do this for so long. Like, how much can you really talk about? Yeah, data coach, that's hilarious. But yeah, it's like, it's just so much more fun. I can't even lie. And let's be honest, the red pill is dying. It's over. It's over because like there was a lot of hype around this, like, oh, the Matrix, bro, how do we make it out? And then like there's this excitement.
I'm fresh, I'm fit, I'm moisturized, and monetized. I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. It's important to take care of your skin because, you know, that's the first thing that people see. They see your skin and they judge you on that. They don't want to say it, but they actually really do. So we're gonna go through that skincare routine together, right? With the wonderful products of TH and Lee. So first thing that I do, I tie my hair. Yep, I tie my hair because I don't want to get my hair in the way. Twice a week, what I do is I take the exfoliating scrub because I want to get in the nooks and crannies, all right? I go up there, we always forget the edges. If it goes a little bit in my hair, it's okay, it's not a frown. Close your eyes, rinse your face. You're gonna use a cloth. You have the daily face wash, boom. Ooh. You're gonna put the under eye cream. Before you moisturize, that's what I do. You take the eye cream, take one little dab under your eyes like that, takes away the bags. Okay,
That's
I'm done with
crazy,
that.
chat.
I take my morning facial. Everybody likes a little facial in the morning, pause. And just apply it like so. So your face is moisturized. Click on the link below, get your 30% off and a free gift. Yup. And get your skin care routine on.
And I got it at the right time, hit the wave at the right time. You know, I was red pill raging when the red pill was blowing up, so it was perfect. You know, screaming at a camera, wake up, wake up! And then now, like, okay, you know, live life now. Can't be screaming at a camera about Satan every single day.
Wow, so much maturity. You've grown so much in here. This is why when so many people are telling me like, oh man, he's my mentor, it's like this loser barely has his life together, doesn't have any of his own opinions really solidified, changes his opinions every week. One day he's a Muslim, the next day he's doing drugs and threesomes, the next day he's back to the red pill, the next day he's like, red pill's stupid, I'm done with it. It's just, you can't take goofballs like this seriously. And it's not even like I said it before, it's just an age thing. And people are like, oh, that's super dismissive. Like when you're in your early 20s to mid 20s, like you figuring shit out. You're trying to latch onto ideas to feel comfortable with yourself and the world around you. Him switching up like this, everyone's like, oh, it's a grift, he's a liar. Maybe. Or maybe he's just a young man who's realizing that life isn't what I thought it was. And that's normal for people who get into adulthood and start taking on responsibilities and taking on different ideas. That's it. That's it. But the thing is, do you want to spend time listening to young people ramble about shit they barely understand as if they were experts?
Yep.
Me personally, I'm too old for that shit.
Pause.
What about you?
The only reason I know these people is because of you.
Sure.
Way too old for this shit.
Okay.
Like, if you're too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Didn't Abba say Sneeko was grifting 3 months ago?
Like,
Did he?
But it's all good. I understand it because I was at that state. Like you say stuff that you think you know with so much, like you're assertive about it and so much. That's the truth. Nothing I know is like I know, cause I know, but you don't know. You don't know shit. And the more you know, the more you realize, oh, shit, I don't know shit about fuck. It's funny because my attitude now at 41 is more of a, there's a lot of shit that I don't know than when I was 20. When I was 20, it was like, well, the thing is, and the Illuminati, I don't know. Now I'm just okay. I'm okay to say I don't know. There's no shame in my game.
There's only so much you can say about the red pill, right? Get a girl with the low body count, don't watch porn, go to the gym. Boom, done. That's like, you sum up most of like, instead of repeating it, and that's when you guys kind of get off on just seeing people like owning, it's like when you're 14 and you watch Ben Shapiro owns libs. Oh yeah, fuck that college girl.
Wait, you can do this? Is this unethical?
Yeah. It's like not even anything improving about it. It's just WWE.
Do you think, or is this ethical?
Incels.
And you're the Undertaker.
Facts.
A couple of times you died and you risen from the death. Like, yeah, you participated in that. You were in that. You were one of the main characters.
Again, it's so repetitive, bro. Red pill will never die. No, of course it will never die, dummy. But it's just the red pill is just the truth, you know. And it's just, you know what's really not red pill?
Your
Talking
mom?
about the red pill all day long,
fuck.
nonstop.
My bad.
Actually being red pill, if you're talking about truth, is going and enjoying life, becoming better every single day, being around good people, having a good circle, enjoying the world. Like that's the best thing you could.
It's so cringy just hearing this guy repeat shit I said to him like a year ago. It's just like, oh yeah, that's what it is. That's the truth. I was like, so when I said it wasn't the truth. But now you're still claiming red pill and you're just repeating what I said. Oh, now life is about community, surrounding yourself with good people and enjoying yourself?
Huh.
Wow.
Profound.
When did you say that to him?
When we did the interview online. Yeah. Remember I was talking about family and all this other stuff. He was like, bro, I want to just have 21 bitches. And now he's like, family creation is the most important thing in life. And it's crazy watching someone flip-flop in a year like 7 times. And you just realize the dude tries to be a leader, but he's probably the most impressionable person I've ever met. Every day his ideology changes, his vision of the world changes. And it's okay to change. Yeah. But it's like, you can't be loud. Like, I know what I'm talking about, but you flipping like pancakes.
I got you.
Maple syrup and everything.
It's funny how religious texts will always say that being gay is bad. The gayest thing you could do with the internet, because there's so many possibilities, is argue with other nerds online about religion constantly. That's gayer than being at a gay pride parade. Well, this book, this Trinity, this is the Crusades.
So you're gay. Why are you gay? Like, you're describing what you did and peak game.
But he's not gay anymore. That's the whole point, you know?
I don't think so. Why would he go back to that?
I don't know.
He wants to make money. Listen, this guy just goes where the trends are. He said it. He was on the red pill stuff when it was popping. Now that he's dying, he's off of it. This dude just follows trend. Andrew Tate became Muslim. This loser becomes Muslim. Is he a real Muslim? Of course not. But the aesthetic and the feel of religion feels good for him. He gets to go on all these Islamic podcasts. He gets a lot of these new fans who also have issues with women. So it's just a benefit. These guys, they'll just jump on whatever the fucking wave is. But then if you peer behind the curtains, you're like, are you actually living that life that you're claiming? He's like, no, they're not. Right? They're all degenerates. Also, we got a Discord. We got a Reddit. We got a couple side bitches. If you check the description, you can get access. So you don't want to miss all the videos that we got going on. Side channel, side bitches, whatever you want. I don't care.
We got a Reddit. We got a Discord. We got a couple of side bitches. I was like, hey,
I'm
yo.
mad at that, okay?
Hey, yo.
Links in the description below. Go check them out. Otherwise, we also have a video editing contest. We're hiring an editor. If you want to be part of it, go to and basically edit your own video of Abba and Preach, upload it to TikTok, right, with the caption Abba and Preach video contest. We'll check you out. We might hire you on full time. Remote job. Let's go.
I thought we were on the same page. And that's what I realized on my core audience, like the people that come here all the time. If you look at the comments with the video, I did a video with Neon and Jason Love, right? We just got dinner, making jokes, stuff like that. I was asking if he repents. I was asking about if he thinks porn is bad for society. I'm talking about, you know, his religion, stuff like that. I'm talking about everything that you guys always obsess over about to just, you know, make my community happy, right? The comments on Neon's VOD on his YouTube channel compared to my comments on my Rumble channel, the difference is just insane. My Rumble comments, all this like, Stinko's hanging out with these, Stinko betrayed us. Why is he eating dinner with these people? You should be yelling at whores with Myron right now.
Wait. So you watered grass, now your grass grew, and now you're complaining about grass?
Yep.
That's facts. You cultivated the most hyper-judgmental audience by being hyper-judgmental to everyone. You would watch videos, call people dumb feminists, all this other stuff, this, that, and the third, and then when you realize your audience is exactly a reflection of who you are,
didn't like it anymore,
you want to cry about it.
Yep.
Look at all this grass.
Hey.
Look at all this grass in my yard that I've been watering for 6 months.
Talk to only, and then Neon's comments. We love you so much, Neon. Keep going. Yeah, this was so funny. Great video. You're evolving every day. If I just let, like, the Rumble audience, you people dictate everything that I do, it would just, bro, I would go insane.
Crazy how that works, huh?
NPCs on kick. Bro, like, I understand that you might know the truth. Rumble people, you might know the truth about the world, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean you're better than other people. Because you believe in God and you think that OnlyFans girls are demons, right? That doesn't make you better than other people who are enjoying life.
Yes, Doug. Hearing Sneeko complain about his audience almost feels like I'm hearing Sneeko complain about how Sneeko's always behaved. He always made himself seem better for knowing the truth. He called everyone bots for not being red pill and knowing the truth. He always positioned himself as being better because he was plugged in red pill. It's crazy to see.
You knowing, you probably know the truth, but you knowing that thing doesn't make you better than anybody else.
All right, listen. I told y'all this whole movement is dying. I hold y'all, this whole movement is dying because the people who are leading it are idiots, okay? They're dumb people who have no business strategy. They don't know
Bro,
how to
this
navigate,
game.
and they don't understand the fact that despite their rhetoric, they don't own any equity. They don't own these platforms. These platforms can literally delete their whole movement in a minute. And they will. And they already have begun. And this whole red pill phase has just been dying out. And it's also repetitive. Like, how many times are you going to debate, can men and women be friends? How many times are you going to debate whether or
Body
not
count.
a woman's body count matters or whatever? I'm not saying you got to make new topics under the sun. But at some point, yelling about the same shit every day with different boob jobs gets boring. It does. Just tell it like it is. Different whore, same topic. That's what these panel of horse.
Wow.
Two weird looking dudes. Same topic. I'm not saying we out here groundbreaking or whatever, but at least we try to have laughs and just chill out. Like, if you think I want to cover trans women in sports again, you are fucking crazy. Like, do I think it's wrong? Absolutely. Do I want to cover that topic every day? Absolutely not. And listen, y'all may not believe this, but whenever I meet trans people in person, like, it's mad chill and cool. Like, I got no problem with them personally. So I don't want to be out here complaining like I don't. I think this topic's stupid, but I'm ready to move on and do different things.
Nico was so
okay?
close to avoiding this arc when he first talked to you all that time ago. He picked the wrong path in the choose your own adventure.
I'm just like, yeah, what's up? That's it. I don't care enough. These dudes, like, the energy, like, you know they gotta hate these bras. That's crazy. Every day, so it's like, women deserve less, you're inferior, blah, blah, blah. Women are stupid. It's like, holy shit. Can you, anything else? Anything else you want to say?
No, I am baffled.
Hey, man.
Hey, thank you.
Red pill's dying. How do y'all feel about it? It is dying. And I'm so glad this trend's over. I'm so glad this trend's over. I think it was poisoning a lot of dudes. I think there's definitely some truth in the fact that there's certain aspects of society that disadvantage men. It's okay to have those conversations. But the way these people are having the conversation, it evolved from like, oh, men got issues to women should lose the right to vote. Men should be just given a wife. Or start building your harem, go abroad to find your way. Like, it was just progressively just doing stuff that I'm like, what's all this? Overall, I think most of these dudes got exposed to being losers who either paid for product or didn't live the life that they pretended. So that's why the movement is dead. You sad to see the red pill go?
No, I don't care.
You don't care? I think in real life it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because we walk around like we're not seeing these red pill weirdos.
No.
They literally just stay behind their keyboards in a little Discord community meeting. Nobody knows they even fucking exist, really.
Or the good clubs and watch people in the corner dance. Look at this whore.
pay $20 to just pay
get in
and be like,
or they pay like for a bottle, 6 bros, it's like, look at the hoes. They're not gonna get none of this liquor. Yeah. You want some? No? Fuck you then.
Do you think universities should be able to withdraw certificates if a person cites the institution to the greater public environment and the thing they are saying is wrong on a very basic level? I think probably. I think so, yeah. I haven't heard any good arguments against it.
You were ugly anyway, bitch.
Bounce, 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 bounce.
Horse.
Bounce, 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 bounce. Bounce, 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 bounce.
Lies of P. What the fuck is this game you guys keep mentioning? Ten important things you need to know before playing.
Can you hear me?
You know that we've entered a new era in the increasingly crowded Souls-like arms race when we're now turning classic children's stories into dark, twisted, Bloodborne pseudo-sequels. But hey, here we are. Yes.
Oh, is he playing it?
What's in the Valorant store? Let's go check it out, baby.
Oh, is he done playing it? Oh my god, you got a stamina bar too?
It's pretty obvious that that other weapon is just way more dominant.
Oh cool, you got like a bonfire mechanic that you respawn at? Enemies hidden around corners that hit you if you don't check.
God. I just want to just die right now.
Oh my god, enemies that hold their attack so that it's kind of deceptive and hard to know when to parry them.
Problem when you have run on B, because you can't look.
Oh my god, ability to slide down ladders quickly? Oh my god, you can recover your souls? I mean, your Lorgo when you die? Whoop! 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 Whoop!
This guy hits hard.
Yeah? He's not winning this one. No shot. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, loud.
Fucking.
Okay, I don't think I want to watch this video. Ayla recommended another crazy girl for debating.
I'm arguing against the idea that we shouldn't have norms.
I don't know why all British feminist women are fucking insane, but I haven't listened to this yet. We might listen to this at some point. That could easily lead to people in academia, a place where you're supposed to have the wildest ability, and now are scared to hold beliefs or opinions that go against the grain out of fear the degree will be taken away. I'm genuinely surprised you would think this. I mean, it just depends on what you're talking about. I mean, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with having contrary views to some extent, but if you're citing stuff that has no foundation, here's the issue. Let's say that I'm a university and I issue degrees to people that get educated here, and then you go out and you say a bunch of shit that is obviously fucking retarded and obviously in contradiction to what we teach, but then you like are citing your degree from my university. It makes me look bad. I don't want people to think that I am endorsing your point of view, right? Also, to be fair, I don't think Jordan Peterson's losing his degree. I think it's just a licensing, right? Louise Perry is not insane. She's a studied academic. Please do not write her off. Ayla will not do well in this particular debate. Louise Perry has published so many things on the subject of sex in the 21st century. Are you waiting for something to cover the Russell Brand allegations? Yeah, I went for an Addy day for that one. He should drive his response to the board. He agrees with them. He was out of line, but doesn't want to do the class. The board told him to do his punishment. Wow. Minecraft for adults looks interesting. What? Wait, is this just mods for Minecraft? Or is this like an actually different game? $350,000 meals? What? Oh my god, pan for minerals. Oh my god, we can smelt iron? Wow. Simply even. Wow, hug time. CS2 is open to everyone now? Wait, is it? No shot. Is Counter-Strike a free game or do you pay for it? I don't even remember. Hold on. Store. How the fuck do I just get to the... Oh, okay. CS, go to. You need a prime and MM rank. I don't know what the fuck that means. Okay, I probably can't do it then. Never mind. It's an update, not a new game. Oh, cringe. Sad Boy Live, thanks for the host. Oh, fuck, I didn't even say thank you. Play Liza P anyway. You'll end up playing it in 3 months. I doubt it. I think it looks fucking boring.
Daily reminder, you're perfect and flawless, and you're always right, and you're so cool, and you have friends, and you are hot. Daily.
Vaush double down on Agua. He is undefeatable.
Streamer. I'm covering Destiny here.
Is like this.
Covering Destiny. Why
This
did you
isn't
say
true. That water has not always been H2O?
Yeah, all you have to do is cross the Mexican border. And over there, it's aqua. That's H2O.
It circulates via.
So based. That clip. You know what's funny? People reference that. Nobody's actually said what was wrong with it. Still true. Still classic. The whole point of the discussion was he was arguing that trans women can't be women because women has a specific definition. And
No, Vosh, you've missed the whole point. The point was that he was referring to the fact that there is probably some underlying material that is being referred to by terms. That's what he's saying. When he said that water has always been water, what he's saying is that arguably words are referring to underlying factual things that have always existed. And do you say, well, no, it's not always water. In other places, it could be agua, is missing the entire point of what he was saying.
I was arguing that definitions vary all the time between countries. Like the definition of building. Like, what is a building? Right? Is like something you've built like for a dog, is that a building? Is like a hole dug in a wall with like a little rock in front to block it a building? Does it vary country to country? Do some countries have different definitions of building? I bet you that most people wouldn't really consider like a mud hut to be a building, but cultures that historically built with more mud, like in Mexico or whatever, maybe would be more likely to say that, and civic definitions change as well. I've still never seen anybody give an actual... Okay, so like here's another big one, right? What is water? Like H2O, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, so is heavy water water? Like, it's not even H2O. Is that considered water? Well, it's like, oh, well, technically it's not water, but maybe people call it water. Oh, so one word could have multiple definitions, right? And even like a single term? Okay, is water that I have taken from a river water? Well, yeah, sure, it's river water, right? So is it water? So if I hold up a bucket and I say it's full of water,
Would I be lying if I had just taken the water from the river? And basically everyone would say no. Like, no, that's water. And then I say, oh, but what about the fact that it had...
He's getting into something that's more correct here. It would have been nice to bring that up in the debate instead of the aqua comment. Fuck! What are we doing? I'm bored. Do I like RimWorld? Yeah, I put hundreds of hours in that game. 5 hours ago, the girls and gays finally outnumber Hasanabe.
Morning we were supposed to play basketball.
Is this their podcast? I don't even know what the fuck this is.
Okay,
Am I
and
sensing
then
some jealousy here?
yes, yes, I am very jealous that that Cutie has a podcast that she likes more.
Okay.
Her other podcast, which is lame because there's 2 women. It's like everybody knows you need one.
No, zero.
We have
Really.
two,
You know, like, get back in the kitchen.
But
you
there's
know
a
what
lot of. I agree. Oh my God! Thank you.
It's
Finally,
just like,
someone's saying it.
Why women shouldn't have microphones? It's like,
Tan-
you know, it's
Tan
like
is
turkey
here.
or ham on the
Yeah.
sandwich. Like that's where we're at.
This is like.
There's an interesting cafe near my place called the Mighty Oak. It's like any other cafe until you look behind it. Yeah, this is someone's house, and there are other businesses like this across the city. Be Fresh on Cypress Street, the Vernon Drive Grocery Market, Davy Flowers, all these businesses on Denman Street, and perhaps my favorite example, this smoke and convenience store in Riley Park. What they all have in common is that they are literally on the front yard of someone's house.
Well, these kind of businesses are illegal today, and I think we should change that.
There you stand now, baby. Looking sad and blue. Now there's just one thing to say now, baby. I'm moving on.
Wow.
All right, let's back up a bit. How does something like this even happen?
Well, it starts here. Vancouver's West End in the early 1900s. Back then, this area was nicknamed Blue Blood Alley, a neighborhood of mansions for Vancouver's wealthiest residents. But then everything changed when when several streetcar lines were built throughout the neighborhood. More and more people began moving into the area. For many homeowners, this was an opportunity to start a business. And where? Well, often it was right on their front lawn. When you look at photographs from that time, it's truly incredible. You have tailors, grocery stores, candy shops, and even compressed gas, all setting up shop in front of people's houses.
You'll find a similar story in older neighborhoods across North America. As more and more people started moving into an area, homeowners set up businesses inside or right in front of their houses, and a lot of them are still around today. For me, that story reveals an opportunity.
If there's one thing we have a lot of in North America, it's single-family houses with empty, grass-covered front yards. We have vast neighborhoods upon neighborhoods upon neighborhoods of these houses, many of them next to busy roads connected to public transit. Well, there's a ton of hidden potential in these areas. A typical front yard in Vancouver takes up 20% of the property, while the backyard takes up 45% of the property. To me, that means there's a ton of room to build a structure in the front, in the back, or even above and below the house to support a business. You could start a bakery, a cannabis shop called The Bakery, or an Indian seafood restaurant called Bay Curry. The possibilities are endless.
And I think there's a pretty compelling case for this. It's estimated that over 50% of businesses in Canada are based in the home, and for good reason.
This is by far the most affordable and low-risk way of starting an enterprise. You can experiment with new ideas that might not be profitable right away, but ultimately go on to become highly successful companies. Okay, sorry, that was a weird example, but seriously, companies like Microsoft, Apple, Google, and Spanx that changed the world in waistlines. These corporations didn't get their start in a fancy office. They started in a house. So by adding spaces for businesses and houses today, I think, in all seriousness, we could be kickstarting companies that shape the world tomorrow.
But of course, today, you can't build a business in your front yard. You technically can't even set up a lemonade stand. So why is that? Why did we stop allowing front yard businesses? Well, as always, there's another side to this story.
And that is the neighbor's side of the story. These front yard businesses could be a problem to people living nearby.
If your neighbor starts selling compressed gas out of their house, yeah, you might be a bit upset. Some businesses were noisy or smelly, and there were concerns that this would reduce property values for neighboring houses. For many, this resulted in a very black and white mentality about homes and businesses. They had to be separated. In 1928, the city of Vancouver introduced the zoning bylaw. This divided the city into different areas based on what the land could be used for. There were industrial districts for factories and warehouses, commercial districts for businesses, apartment districts for apartments, and residential districts for houses. And there was a key criteria for those residential districts, a setback rule. A rule that required all buildings to be placed a minimum distance from the street, creating a front yard. From here on out, there would be no more front yard businesses. No grocery stores, no tailors, no compressed gas, no nothing. So why was this setback so important? Well, that's where things get a bit more complicated. The most often cited reason is public health. Many city policies at the time were created in response to poor conditions in crowded and polluted downtown areas. These setback rules were seen as necessary to make sure people had enough open space, air circulation, and sunlight. Another interesting reason, widening roads. Enforcing a setback rule meant that cities could widen streets in the future without pulling a houseman and knocking down old buildings. But to a certain extent, this was also about looks. For Harlan Barth,
isn't this the real reason why Fresh and Fit mostly had to move their business? I have no idea why they got kicked out of their apartment. If I had to guess, it's probably like noise or something because the show ran like really late and they had a lot of people going in and out. That'd be my guess, but I have no idea. I don't actually know.
Bartholomew, the planner that created these rules, one of the key issues with front yard businesses was that they hurt the appearance of a good many resident streets. I think this is a very important part of the story. These rules were not just about public health and transportation, they were also about protecting aesthetics, and the aesthetics of a certain class of people. At the time, lawns were a symbol of status and wealth. If you could afford to have an empty piece of land just sitting there, you were pretty well off. So requiring every house to have a lawn ensured that wealthy neighborhoods stayed wealthy. But eventually, those upper-class ideals became the broader ideals of North American society, being a huge influence over a boom in housing construction after the Second World War. Soon, having a house with a front lawn was no longer a luxury, it was a fixture of the middle class. Today, those ideals are ingrained into our neighborhoods across North America. Zoning ensures that businesses are separated from houses, and setback rules make sure that front yards remain front yards. But I can't help but feel like we threw out the baby with the bathwater.
Does the Fresh and Fit studio theoretically violate the zoning bylaws? I have no idea. Do streamer houses violate? I have no idea. I'm not sure.
Businesses that still exist today are actually cherished. Many love that they're within walking distance of their houses and that they're locally owned. Nobody complains that the cafe down the street is creating a huge disturbance or blocking out the sun or bringing down property values. No, these places are seen as important gathering spaces for the community. And recently, the tides appear to be changing. This year, the city of Vancouver voted to allow small grocery stores in residential neighborhoods. That's right, we legalized weed in 2018, and in 2021, we legalized convenience stores. But even without legalization, this is already happening to a certain extent. If you spend enough time in Metro Vancouver's suburban neighborhoods, you'll start to notice something. Shops and services in people's homes. In defiance of God and the zoning bylaw, they sell everything from pool tables and car batteries to pet supplies and bicycles. They offer services like styling your hair, doing your accounting, and tailoring your clothes. I think these businesses are a benefit to their neighborhoods, providing goods, services, and employment for a lot of people. And it's worth mentioning that many of them have become a staple of suburban immigrant communities. I think it's a shame that our zoning bylaws and setback rules force these businesses to fly under the radar, hidden away inside houses. And ultimately, it makes me wonder, if so many people are supposedly breaking the rules, are they wrong? Or is it the rules that are wrong? I think that's a good place to segue into an opportunity that Urbanarium has just launched. It's an ideas competition that anyone can enter called the Mixing Middle. They're basically asking entrants to think of how we can add a mix of uses into single-family neighborhoods. You know, if the pandemic has taught me anything, it's that the places we reside in can also be places of work, commerce, recreation, and other essentials of daily life. So how can we create spaces above, below, in front, or behind traditional houses to accommodate all that? If you'd like to find out more about the competition and its prizes, check out themixingmiddle.ca. And if you're looking for some compressed gas, well, come find me.
This video seems like very high quality. It got a lot of views. I wonder why this channel didn't take off. 108,000 subs. What happened? Do you think they stopped making videos? Oh, 4 months ago, 1 million views. 7 months ago, 550,000 views. 10 months ago, 9. I wonder why they don't get many subs. Why don't they convert many of their viewers to subs? Huh.
Hey, Destiny, would you say community college is worth it?
Probably. Just like blowjobs to your mom are worth it.
Streamer. I'm covering.
We already watched this. Is it because of React streamers? True. What's going on today?
Oh, it's Weaver! That's kind of sus. That's the guy from the Shattered Hand. The red aspect? You're just saying it because of this. Okay, like... Oh!
Wait, what happened?
Just saying it because...
Hello?
Hey, you ready to take a look?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, here's the IP for the server. Don't leak that, and then your username and password.
How am I supposed to not leak it and do it on stream?
Can you not just like not show the address bar?
I'll try. What's my password? Oh, I see it.
Alright, you should be logged in.
Hold on, what is full screen? F11, F10?
F11.
Okay. Now I click what? Save configuration or... Oh, we got player pronouns? Thank God.
You got everything you need to be a successful D&D player.
Okay, what do I do?
Alright, so you'll see your token, the little DGGL thing.
Where?
Oh, you're
You'll have to zoom in.
You can see there's lighting effects and everything. You've got token vision that's represented.
Am I supposed to see something right now? Oh, this guy. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I guess you're going with the torch, so it's a little bit hard to see. You can look around the map. There's doors you can open and close, but if you double right click that zombie,
where? Oh, yeah.
It'll target him.
Right in front of you.
I got it.
Yep. And then you on your hotbar, you should have weapon attacks and spells. So you can just click them. They'll pop up in chat.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll make the attack against them if you click attack.
Mm-hmm.
Should see a nice little animation.
Mm-hmm.
And you got fireballs and lightning bolts. If you click one of those, you can shoot those.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
If you click, you can move around with your arrow keys. You can go around. If you go all the way to the north of the room, there's a secret door that'll pop open when you get near it. Mm-hmm. If you go in the passageways, it'll automatically, do whatever rolls you need for hazards.
Mm-hmm.
And then dealing with some of the other issues, I've got a document for some of the other stuff. But there's a lot of ways to get chat interaction. So, for instance, see, what do we have imported? So if I come here to to this guy, so there's a few things that we have. So one, we can have chat pay to give you inspiration, or there you go. Or you can have it so that they can bane people.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, with nice sound effects, we can put overlays over the thing. They can interact there. They can pay for treasure to get added
Mm-hmm.
into into the game. And then the idea would be, if we're running this as a West Marches, every 2 to 4 episodes, you can have an entirely new cast of Orbiters. You can run new characters. You can rotate Orbiters in and out. So Abba has already said he's wanted to play with you. Mr. Mooten did. Esports Batman and Kelly Jean did. There's a bunch of people. You can have people vote people in or out. You can have people vote on your adventures. You can run it at all sorts of different levels or locations. Whatever you want to do. So.
Okay.
So you excited? Do you want to do this at all, or do you just not want to do any D&D or something else entirely?
Well, listen, how about I watch you guys run this with a few other people, and then we'll see how it goes, and then I'll give it a good consideration, yeah?
Well, we were wondering if you would be interested in doing the DM yourself, and that would give you the opportunity.
Yeah, how about I'll watch one of you guys do it first, and I'll see how it goes, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like...
but the idea is that, like, you would run your own mercenaries guild, and so, you know, each sort of story would be the group going off on a new mission.
Okay.
And so you would hand out the missions sort of like Basil in Charlie's Angels, if you remember that. And then everybody would go off in that particular party on that particular mission, and it would allow a lot of mixing and matching of various people depending on their likes. So you might have Tabor, Mr. Mooten, and Dan go off on a mission for a couple weeks and then come back, and then maybe Abba goes out with Dan and Mr. Mooten sort of deal. So yeah, that's the idea.
Wow.
All right, well, I gotta go. I've got a 5:30, so take care.
Okay. Because I'll watch you guys do a campaign on it and see how it goes for a little bit, okay?
All right, see ya. Bye.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Oh. Okay, back to what really matters.
Because of this. Okay, like... Oh! Your fucking coat.
Rip.
My day is ruined.
Is that like a big death or something, or is it just...
Hey, man. Oh, it's Weaver!
That's permadeath because they're playing hardcore? Wait, did he actually, like, die? Oh, oh man. That is super unlucky.
If you're jacking off right now, I see you. I see it down there. I see it. I see it. I'm looking right at it. Nice cock. If you're jacking off right now, I see you. I see it down there. I see it. I see it. I'm looking right at it. Nice cock.
We watched this live, right? Did he actually... Wait, can somebody tell me, did he find the the portal? Was it in that room?
Why do I always get these fucking broken ass motherfuckers?
Is that it right there? Or is that not it? I can't tell if that's the... People are saying yes and no. It is? Because it kind of looks like it, but I can't tell. Another Guzu hardcore death at max level.
Let me just keep farming these imps here. What time is Black Lair? Invite starts in 10 minutes. So, very soon. No!
What did he die?
What the fuck did I do? Wait, what did I do? Wait.
How did
I do?
How did he die?
No! Invite starts in.
Oh, is this his HP up
What's
here?
up, Black Lair? Invite
You can
starts
life
in 10
tap
minutes.
to use your health as mana.
So very
Oh.
soon. No!
Are you like?
Yeah.
Are you like jacked in this photo?
It's not photoshopped.
Am I not jacked now?
I mean, you look more jacked in this photo. I'm seeing definition in the calves. I'm seeing definition in the thighs. The arm has definition in it.
Backhanded compliment much? Okay.
No.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're gonna judge on that front here, I'm in Texas right now. I'm not in my house. I'm not near my gym. I'm not working every day because I've been busy with grinding the content and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's click on item takes a ton of life for some mana. Gosh.
Probably I would have your numbers if I just cut out gym. Then I'd be like a flab like you. But I value my health and body a little bit more here. So
Jesus.
Yeah. So thanks again for admitting
Are they doing like their version of Hot Ones or whatever?
here that I'm not to your pristine qualifications of being certified jacked still, but okay. I'll take that aside.
Are you like?
Yeah.
Are you like jacked in this photo?
It's not photoshopped.
Am I not jacked now?
I mean, you look more jacked in.
Do you want to change your life? It's a simple question. Just answer it. Do you want?
7 years ago, bro. Why are you looking at this?
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. In recent years, Russell Brand's reinvented himself as an anti-establishment. I've been watching this. It's very interesting.
How is Pearl getting on fucking Piers Morgan so often? What the fuck is happening? Why? Like a game is gonna go offline? No, we got keep her kick in 30 minutes.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. In recent years, Russell Brand's reinvented himself as an anti-establishment commentator online. He has 6.6 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, 11.2 million followers on Twitter, 6 million fans on Facebook, and they're all very loyal to him. Millions of Brand's fans have been crying conspiracy since his scandal broke, led by influential figures like Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, and Andrew Tate. Why do so many believe that he's a victim of a big conspiracy? We'll discuss this. I'm joined by the controversial influencer Pearl Davis, and from New York, the, well, equally controversial influencer Louise Mensch. Let's call you both the same title, shall we? All right, let me start with you, Pearl. I've been watching this. It's very interesting how this debate has come down now, with a lot of people on the conservative right in the main, but basically saying they believe he's been deliberately targeted and taken down to silence him because he's been promoting what they see as conspiracy theories.
I mean, it certainly seems like that. I mean, I think you just start to see the same thing over and over again, where prominent figures like the Tate brothers, right, come out and then all of a sudden they have all these allegations from 10 years ago and there's no evidence. They don't go to the police.
Brand was fucking 1,000 women a year? According to who? Brand? There's no chance that number is even remotely close to true. What? Shut up.
And all of a sudden it's believe women with no evidence.
And Joe Rogan confirmed it? Oh, well, my bad. If Joe Rogan confirmed it.
And it becomes like trial by the media, which I just think is wrong.
But is it right to equate his YouTube channel, his exploration of various theories about COVID or whatever, is it really realistic that a 4-year investigation by 2 mainstream media companies is in any way connected to that or a desire to silence him? Why would they care?
It just seems like they always just go after him. I don't know why.
Are they going to talk about like the actual accusations or any of the facts of the matter, or is it just going to be like this autistic, mind-numbingly fucking retarded shit?
All right, let me bring in Louise. I mean, I don't really follow this theory because I don't understand why mainstream media would really care if Russell Brand has millions of people that want to watch his stuff. I mean, I've watched some of them occasionally. It's not always right-wing people. He has left-wing people on as well. It's quite interesting, some of it. I was going to get him on my show and maybe do his. So I don't really understand this theory that somehow it's all a deliberate campaign to silence him.
What, did they have a time machine, Piers? Like, did they have a time machine to go back in time 4 years before he had this new YouTube channel at all, and before he started tacking hard to the alt-right, and then somehow they decided that...
What are these? Why is is Russell Brand alt-right? Has that ever been an accusation levied at him? Ever? He's just a retarded conspiracy theorist. Is England like just 5 years behind the US on everything? I know you guys lag on culture, food, intelligence, health, teeth, like every other thing. But do you guys lag on like political jargon as well? How is Russell Brand alt-right? Sorry, that was unnecessary. Oh, my bad. What a dumb fucking...
And before he started tacking hard to the alt-right, and then somehow they decided that they were going to get him. No, they didn't. And I think the key thing here is not to confuse two separate issues. The first is the issue of putative criminality of a criminal case that, as your previous guest said, will almost certainly never be brought because this is historical stuff, and saying, which I think you're saying, I disagree with you, because of a criminal case that, as your previous guest said, will almost certainly never be brought at all. And before he started tacking hard to the alt-right, and then somehow they decided that they were going to get him. No, they didn't. And I think the key thing here is not to confuse two separate issues. The first is the issue of putative criminality of a criminal case that, as your previous guest said, will almost certainly never be brought.
I'm trying to remember. Was there a celebrity a long time ago that got fucked because some girls accused him of rape? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I feel like there was a celebrity a long time ago where two girls accused him of rape, and he like got convicted, like 20 plus years in jail. I think didn't two other celebrities from that 70s show write letters of support? Isn't this kind of like a weird statement to say, given we literally just had a guy get convicted from rape like last week? Wait, how does nobody know what I'm talking about? I don't actually know the guy's name. Danny Masterson or whatever. Isn't this kind of a weird statement to make? There's no way that like justice will be brought in a legal sense, like.
Because this is historical stuff, and saying, which I think you're saying, I disagree with you, that the rest of us can't decide that these women are victims. Now, I don't believe in the Me Too movement. I have a problem with the idea that accusation is the same as conviction. That's not true. I believe these specific women because I heard what they have to say and I find them credible in a way that I don't find other accusers credible. And I think that's the difference.
Rape cases are often harder to prove in the UK. Is that true? That might be true. I have no idea.
It's
then
not
go
one
to the
size
police.
fits all.
Then go to the police. Like, why are you going to the media and not the police? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, the media, like, they run stories, and I just don't think it's fair that we do trial by the media.
Well, except that, as I said earlier, Harvey Weinstein is in prison because women went to journalists. And then the police.
Well, they should go to the police.
The reality is she probably doesn't think Harvey Weinstein did anything wrong. I don't know if she knows the details, but I bet. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, but it can be sometimes women feel, we just had the...
Why would you? That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
you go to the journalist instead of the police?
But we live in a country here where only 1% of rape allegations lead to conviction.
Well, maybe only 1% were telling the truth. I don't know.
Jesus.
Does that seem likely?
Could be.
Unlikely.
I don't know.
It says to me the justice system is wrong in the way we investigate these things. Louise?
Look, Pearl is somebody who believes that women shouldn't even have the vote. Okay, let's just leave it there.
Yes.
You heard in your own show today, Piers, one of your earlier guests who was actually defending Russell Brand said that she had been raped and the police treated her very nicely, but when you pressed her and said, then what happened? We heard what happens all the time to women that make these accusations. The director of public prosecution said there were two people in the room. I can't prove anything, and they didn't bother to bring a case against the guy. And that was somebody who was defending Russell Brand.
You're just assuming they're telling the truth.
I don't.
Is it sexism if I just hate the way that like Pearl? Would it be her? It wouldn't be her intonation. It wouldn't be her. Like, when she does this, she always talks like this. I just want to make a point. I'm always just going to say this. I just want to talk like this. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, oh my God. Every single time she talks, it's always in this. God, it's so fucking annoying.
I can't prove anything, and they didn't bother to bring
Yeah,
a case
you need
against
evidence.
the guy.
But,
And
like,
that
you're
was
just
somebody who was
assuming they're telling
defending
the
Russell
truth.
Brand.
You're just assuming they're telling the
I am
truth.
not-
I don't think it's.
assuming that
I
they are
mean,
telling
where I
the
disagree
truth.
with Louise,
I
don't
listen to them.
I don't think it is sensible to automatically believe any accusers about anything. My natural journalistic head says to me that's a dangerous road to go down. We've seen time and again cases in this country where people have turned out to be completely innocent, who were the subject of massive publicity over bogus allegations.
Well, and you're telling me that a guy that has women throwing themselves at him.
I feel like you should be executed if your opinions are dumb. I can't listen to her talk. I can't. She just continually says like the most retarded shit in the fucking world. Like, no wealthy rich guy would ever rape women. Like, it's just so fucking retarded. Like, everything she says is like the dumbest possible opinion. Like, she consistently gives such bad takes that she has to be a hyper intelligent individual, because it's not that she just happens to get things wrong. It's that she knows the most wrong thing, the most stupid thing to say at any particular point in time. I don't think the dumbest person in the world could consistently be so stupid. You have to be smart enough to pick the dumbest things to say. I can't imagine how anybody could so consistently say such retarded shit beyond being a hyper intelligent grifter. I don't even know. Like, holy shit.
24/7. Tell me that a guy that has women throwing themselves at him 24/7 had to rape somebody. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I don't
He
think.
has women coming
No,
at
I
him
don't
all
think.
the
I don't think you
time.
can make
All
the
the
leap that
time.
that couldn't happen.
I didn't say it couldn't. I'd say it's very unlikely. Like, it's Elon.
Then you're not even saying anything of value. Rapes are probably, in terms of this kind of rape, is probably pretty rare. It's not that common. What is that? How is that? It's unlikely.
Musk, is he going to rob a bank? Probably not. I think it's certainly less likely, but he could do it.
Louise, final word to you, quick.
He had thousands of women, yeah, but he decided he had to go and pick up a 16-year-old from school. Look, I don't have to see him convicted in a court of law to believe these accusers, because these specific accusers are credible.
Okay.
Their stories are credible.
Why are they credible?
We've got to leave it there.
What? Is there a woman?
We will come back to this because it's bound to keep going, Miss Scandal. Thank you, Pearl. Thank you, Louise.
Christ. Why would any rich guy... How many people were trying to fuck Epstein? That guy was a billionaire. He could probably get away. Why would he fuck kids, right?
Doesn't matter. Me not getting invaded matters. Okay, I engaged you, okay? Give off here. Man, I'm fucking losing the battle, man. Almost. That's it. Yeah.
I mean, the navs are not in range of that pedal.
Yeah, you fucking fuck! Like, man! Like, it's this fucking good game, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, I thought that was my Discord for once. It wasn't.
Yeah, you fucking fuck! Like, man! Like, it's this fucking good game, but it doesn't.
Russell Brand was an anti-establishment left-winger and has recently been described in the UK as alt-right. I used to like him, but now I just think he's conspiracy theorist and very strange. Even
Russell Brand was an anti-establishment left-winger.
Sure, I'm just saying I've never seen him say anything alt-right before. I just feel like he's like that populist right-wing, like conspiracy theorist.
Why does he keep grinding on Pearl?
I have no idea.
Holy shit, dude.
Okay.
Whoa! Yo! XQC's house.
Wait, what?
Whoa!
Oh, gotcha. I get it.
Yo! XQC's house.
iPhone 14?
This is fake?
iPhone 14.
Wait, you think the guy perfectly framing himself and holding the camera to capture his face flawlessly, and then this guy getting the recording and uploading it, you think this is fake? Hassan Abi better.
Are you fighting him or not? Are you fighting him or not? Are you fighting him or not? I'm not gonna have Jay jump you. Are you fighting him or not? You're a 30-year-old cokehead who's staying at an 18-year-old kid's couch. I don't care anymore. Are you fighting this kid or not? Are you fighting this kid? Yes or no at the warehouse? Yes or no? I don't care. Yes or no? Hey, hey, hey! Yes or no? Yes or no? Hey, what? I'm out. I'm not doing my time with that, bro. I don't give a fuck. I see why Sneeko cut him off. I see it, bro. This guy's just baiting. He's all talk. Because, bro, listen, I agree exactly what with Prime is coming from. Guys, people came to their crib after, so I see Prime's POV. If you won't come to the warehouse, I just said no Dre, nobody else will come. That's that. You don't want to come, that's fine. And again, for anyone that's saying you're interrupting him, motherfuckers interrupting all of us all day. I don't care, bro. I'm not doing it. This guy's pathetic. He's 30 years old, coked out of his mind, doing tons of drugs, and doing some very degenerate shit, bullshit, and sleeping on a 19-year-old kid's couch. I don't care. Fuck that shit.
Apparently they'll do it tonight. No, they won't. Zerka? I don't think Zerka will fight anybody. Flight tonight is 10 p.m. Winner gets 50,000. I don't think so. We'll see though, but I don't think so. There'll be some excuse for why he can't do it.
に行くことは浮気かどうかっていうどう思いますか？
浮気じゃない。浮気じゃない。気持ちの浮気は嫌なんですけど、まあ性欲の浮気は別に勝手にしてくれるんやったらいいかな。バンジンと連絡取れる間でやられるよりは店でちゃんとしてもらった方がいいです。イエス。なんかわざわざ風俗に行く意味がわからない。秘密にしてたらあれだけど、まあ情に恋とかしなければいいじゃない。浮気ではない。隠さなければ浮気じゃない。浮気するなら風俗に行けって言ったことあります。金払え。
Okay, hold on. No, I could be wrong. Be careful. Okay, because a lot of people might look at this and go like, "Oh my God, these girls are red pill." Okay, but I think Japanese girls are more red pill than you think, because don't Japanese women cheat at like higher rates than any other women in the world? So these women all might be saying like, yeah, my husband go to a prostitute because they're already cheating. So let's be careful on that one, okay? Be careful on that one. It does say there were two women, Christian preachers, out on the streets of Saudi Arabia, Iran, using a mic trying to preach and convert random Muslims, but irresponsible who started
Hey, Destiny, there were two women Christian preachers out in the...
Whose side would you take? I don't know, it depends on the laws of the country.
会えばいいよって言ったことあります。ね、出会いじゃなくてお金払って言ってるなら別にいいから。納得できる理由だったら浮気とは思わないかも。
例えばどういう
付き合い？
例えば上司とかの。
怒るけど言ってもまだ許せる。風俗なら。なんか日本ならではのなんか文化じゃないけど、やっぱり有名じゃないですか。風俗とかっていうのが。そういう意味では日本なら。
Destiny, that's a non-answer. I mean, I generally believe that the laws of other countries ought to be respected, right? So like, I think a law might be stupid, but if it's that law in that country, then you ought to respect it. So if you've got a law in a country that says Christian preachers aren't allowed, I mean, I disagree with that law, obviously. I'm an American. But insofar as how that country wants to run its shit, I don't know if I have a right to dictate that country what the laws ought to be. I don't know if every country in the world agrees with the same religious freedoms that we have in the United States. Places like Iran are literally theocracies, right? Like, do I have a right to tell them? Why? Jesus. People in Amsterdam throw their bikes in the water? Why? That's kind of gross. Drunk and high, not their bikes, other people's bikes. Drunk people, it's their version of a wishing well. Where else would you dispose of them? This is how bikes are born. Okay, Jesus. What's going on in Destiny's world? Based Hank Green. I believe that college should be a ticket to the middle class, not a burden that weighs people down in debt for decades to come. You are the president. Wow. Very intelligent. What do you want him to do? Introduce a loan repayment plan that caps payments at 5% of disposable income for low-income borrowers with a lowest monthly cost of $0, but only after an actively antagonistic Supreme Court struck down the former plan that would have eliminated. Oh, damn. Dumpstered. Cumstered and dumpstered. Finally, my savings goal of $10,000. Fuck, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if anyone cares, but I just had a pretty big savings goal last week. I didn't think it would ever be possible a couple of years ago, but decided to hunker down to 23 and count every bit of money, leave it in my pocket, see where it went. I can make some changes. Goals. I have a sizable down payment for a house by the end of next year. Wow, good for you, dude. You should do a $10,000 donor to me. Sneako's audience pre-Red Pill arc 2020 verse.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, you could just ask me how you could reply back. Anyways, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been having a great week.
Yeah?
Very great. Yes. My homeland, you know what I mean? Like, I have plus 10 on all of my abilities. Even my weight is a problem. I'm hitting triple digits. Anyways, listen. This week we got Duano, aka Doano, aka Dantes.
Okay.
Guest host. I'm thinking we should do something like
Russell Brand got labeled alt-right after.
What you think?
You think we should do something like what?
We should get a vote, like the three of us.
Oh. Listen, you know what? I'll follow you this time. I think it's a shit idea, but I'm ready to follow you to the end of the earth. Let's
Why
go.
is it okay, wait. So which one of your ideas do you want to do? Do you want to do the one where we just turn the cameras off all the time until like we want to speak up?
No, I think it's important to have us on screen. I've thought about that one more. Or I need to be on screen at least. I don't know about you, but
okay, dude. See, you trying to talk shit when I'm in my peaceful
shit.
You're lucky Mercs are on, you know what I mean? I saw that video.
Which one?
On your main channel, the one where she's like, I'll manifest talking to XQC, and then the next day she got to talk with them. Listen, I don't know much about it, but I saw that video and I was like, okay, I like this person. That's all I know about them. That and they say a lot of slurs apparently.
Okay.
And they dox themselves. Yeah, but that's it. Where'd you find her, by the way?
I don't even remember. They probably reached out to me to talk about some bullshit, and I was like, sure, why not?
Okay, interesting. Anyways, wait. There was something I wanted to get into, but I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, fuck. I thought about mentioning this at the end, like at the end of the show, but I just want to get it out of the way now. You need to lift your "will not associate with X, Y, and Z person" for one episode. I could put the craziest fucking kicker keep together for next week.
Yeah,
like the nastiest list. Okay. I could do Too Mad. I could do Zerka. I could do Ice. I could do, what's his name? Fuck, he's slipping me. Nick. I like, it could be the greatest show. All of these guys want to be on. It could be the best show ever. You just have to say, listen, yes, for this one episode, I'm cool with it. And you could engage too. You could actually be part of the show as well. Like this time, you could be a contestant with like.
Sure.
You know,
yeah,
you
I'll
can't
think
be
about
kicked
it.
off.
Hey, I
obviously.
drank bleach tonight. Thanks for the 50 gifted subs. Yeah, you know what? Sure. We
Oh,
can do
Bleach!
one.
I'm live. What the fuck are you doing?
You
bro?
can do one
It's
like
my highest
wacky
birthday.
and wild episode if you want. Fuck it, yeah.
Okay,
Or, you know
okay,
what?
there
Yeah,
you
fuck
heard
it. Yeah,
it.
there you go.
Okay,
One wacky
GG.
and wild episode.
Next
yeah.
week.
Not next week. No. Wait. Hold on. I'm
Ah,
about
come
to
on.
travel like a motherfucker again. Hold on.
Okay.
We're just taking next week off, okay?
Okay.
On
We're
Mr.
taking next week off, and the one after that.
Nope.
And the one after that.
No, I'll be here the one after that. But I'm globe.
So I heard vacation. I got happy. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week we're not doing a show. The week after that. Okay, done. Bet. We could actually do that. It'll be a great fucking episode too. Nobody's off limits.
Well. Yeah, within reason. As long as you're not doing some crazy shit, yeah.
What's within reason? I genuinely don't know.
As in, if there's a guy called like Mr. N-word Doxer and he just comes online and he screams like people's phone numbers and then calls on the N-word. Like,
Okay, why would I do that?
I'm just saying, like,
Why
yeah,
would
if there
I
are people
do
that I'm like, I don't want to do, sure, we can do one episode of wacky, wild stuff, okay?
Okay, but here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that you gave me perms, don't take it back after I secured these people like you did with the Alex Smith shit. Wait, that's his
Just
name,
give
right?
me give me the guest list beforehand. Give me who you want to, and I'll just think about it, okay?
Okay, I'll just okay.
Yeah.
Right now, I'll give you the worst version for you. It's like the best version for content, but it's like the worst version for you. I'll reach out to everybody that I think is actually fucking kind of insane. Also, you might have a problem with, but I'm not like purposefully looking for people to have a problem with. It's just that they're the most content. Putting Zerka with Ice, that's content.
Mm-hmm.
Low key, I want to reach out to Mr. Girl, but the thing is, I think he just know I'll reach out to those type of people, and I'll give you the final list, and you just say, okay, we're cool or we're not cool.
Sure.
GG's?
Yeah, do
We
for
good?
it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, people are ready, so could you hop over right now? You know what I mean? Everybody's ready.
Yeah, sure thing, babe.
All right, let's get it.
Okay, listen up, guys. I'm moving over to kick. For kick or keep tonight. Be careful. Ripping on capture. Well, no, I'm not ripping you. Top post on H3 Reddit about you. Yeah, I see it. Okay. Good luck, my YouTube lovers. I love y'all so much.